Thank you, President. As CSR has rightly gave us a view of what we are going to discuss, I just detail in as to what is the intent of these series. So today, what we have seen is that most of us are doing work of GST, but now with the 6th year of GST also coming to an end, we are seeing notices being issued. Somebody is getting a scrutiny notice, somebody is getting an audit notice, somebody is getting a notice for detention of vehicle. Many cases are pending in appeal, somebody is going to High Court. So overall, there are various type of litigations going on. So if you see how we have planned this series also, so first today we will be discussing the basic aspects of how to enter scrutiny and audit. 61 to 65 will cover those chapters. Then we go to 67 search either inspection, where it will include the cases of detention. In case of goods are detained under 129, 130, what is the process to be followed? We'll discuss about that. Then after that, after both these topics, what generally happens after an investigation, a show cause is issued. So what are the contents of a show cause? You need to be very sure that if can the show cause notice be prima facie challenged on the ground of jurisdiction even, or what are the basic requirements for to be fulfilled under the law to have to call it as a proper show cause notice. How to reply to a proper show cause notice. We'll discuss all the various ambits of law there. Then we move to penalty and prosecution. So every now and then you are seeing over news and you are also hearing in papers, seeing in papers that fake invoicing. In Kolkata mein 1000 crore ki fake invoicing ki racket baramad hui. So everybody has this word today, what fake invoicing. So what are the consequences of this fake invoicing? What are the penal provisions? What are whether prosecution can be done in case of fake invoicing or not is a very, very important topic to be discussed. Wherein we have two very learned speakers, Rajiv Bhaiya and Arpit Haldia sir also, who will be taking us through these. Next, after show cause notice, after an order is passed, and what is the process of the law for appeal? First appeal, GST has not been formed. Then what are the consequences? Whether recovery can be done, whether you need to approach the Honorable High Court under writ jurisdiction, whether you can go for a direct SLP under Article 32 or not. All those topics will be discussed under appeals. And last day is one of the very, very interesting sessions which we generally miss as professionals also, is that whenever we see the GST law, it is not a GST law. We cannot read GST law in isolation. We have to have the GST law, read the GST law with allied laws. So for example, there is a block credit. In block credit, you say motor vehicle ka block credit. A motor vehicle is defined in this law as motor vehicle as defined under the Motor Vehicle Act. So you need to understand what is the motor vehicle. So when you read that act, you see it is defined as maxi cab, motorcycle. There are various terms used. So which one is block credit? So allied laws plays a very, very important role. When you speak about prosecution and criminal procedure code, all those chapters, in fact, Jatin sir has recently authored a book on this, interplay of GST, published by Taxman, interplay of GST with allied laws. One of the very interesting topics. And also we are planning that if all things goes, we'll have another speaker from department on that day if we can have some time. That is under discussion. So with this, I believe it's a very, very, the topic is oriented for practical approach. So we have designed the speaker who will be physically here, will be giving an over idea of the entire topic, which we are going to discuss that day. And then the practical aspects as to how the litigations are going on, the speaker who is at the virtual end or also at the physical. And then we have kept 20 minutes for question answer rounds. So it will be a very, very interesting learning. It is not restricted to anyone, from articles to persons like us who are practicing into indirect tax. It's a must go for course in my view. And yes, first day today we are in the first day, but I believe in the coming day we will have more huge participation because public are eager to see these type of seminars or workshops being held. So I again welcome all of you to this wonderful session organized by the PTP. Of course, he has played a fantastic role to get everything on hold with support of Arubda in absentia today. And with this, I request Ajuradi to take the proceedings further. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, as Chairman, the DTPA GST Committee and President has been explaining, this series aims at brainstorming and gaining views of renowned national level GST experts We have national level GST experts deliberating on various issues, virtually and physically, in the 6-day series, which is going to follow starting today. So, and I would urge all of you to actively participate, to learn and to make it an interactive session so that all of us can take away maximum from the learned speakers. For whom we have made a lot of effort to bring it all together for the audience, and wish you all a very productive and insightful session ahead. To begin today's session, I would like to invite our first speaker, CA Gagan Kedia, and I'd like to introduce him first. CA Gagan Kedia is a tax analyst, law graduate, and management consultant, offering over 11 years of post-qualification experience in the field of indirect tax consultancy, litigation management, and due diligence support. He has worked with Deloitte Haskins & Sells, catering to tax advisory and litigation needs of global retail conglomerates and IT giants. He's a special invitee to the GST Council of the Merchant Chambers of Commerce of India, a special invitee to the Indirect Tax Committee of Central Kolkata CS Study Circle, GST Knowledge Partner of Computer Association of Eastern India, contributor to IDT Committee of various forums and CS Study Circles. He has been inducted as a faculty by ICAI to GST trainings, as well as he is a contributor to various ICAI publications on GST. He has addressed more than 300 seminars and workshops in indirect taxes across India to various corporates, educational, trade, and professional bodies. And he is definitely a faculty for GST training for advocates and central and state GST officers. Presently, he is a partner in the firm Messrs. Hiregange and Associates LLP, and is heading the Kolkata branch of the firm and deals majorly in GST advisory and litigation. With that, a very warm welcome. We are honored to have you with us again, and we really looking forward to a great session.
If I request Gagan to start his deliberation, may I request AP Sharma to come forward and present a flagstick to Gagan. Thank you.
A big round of applause.
Audible?
Yes,
Is it audible to the online audience?
Just a second.
Audible to them. First of all, I would like to thank dear sir for thinking about this such a beautiful course. It is a learning for all of us. I think Ankit is sitting, and I'm sure he'll be sitting for the next 6 days also, because I'm also planning to sit for the next 6 days also.
yes, all of us.
All of us, because this is a learning for us as well. So like what we have discussed, that what we are trying to do is, for the first part of the session today, we focus primarily on, we'll quickly touch upon what are the provisions, because a lot of time the nitty-gritties are there in the provisions. And when we don't read it in that depth, like Ankit said, first think about challenging the jurisdiction of the officer itself who has given the notice. We straight away go to the merits. So a lot of times, basics we miss upon. So I'll touch upon the basics. It will be a brush up for all of us. And then quickly I'll discuss some of the basic issues that are there. Thought process wise, what we have to do, critical points, Madhukar sir would be coming and taking the session on the same topic on a much higher level, much more conceptual level. Is that all right? Great. One request I have to all of you for these 6 days, you have the book which you have received, no, Act and Rules, or you would have got it from your office. Please carry it for the next 6 days. Whenever there's a topic discussed, whenever there's a section discussed, in the PPT, the entire section will not be given. Points will be given. Please open the book. Then and there, try to read it from there. What exactly, okay, this is the actual wording, what is the meaning of it? Please do it, it will be helpful. That will be really helpful for all of you. So before I start with the deliberation, I have a very short story. Some of you would have heard it. For some it might be new. This story is from a Mahabharata, which I think we all as professionals should keep in our mind. So Mahabharata, everyone knows? Okay, so there was a concept in Mahabharata. There was a character called Dronacharya. Everyone was aware about him? Dronacharya? Okay, so who was Dronacharya? He was the teacher of warfare to both Kauravas and Pandavas. But when he fought the war, he was on the side of the Kauravas. He was very powerful. They were unable to defeat him. Pandavas were unable to defeat him, right? But ultimately he died. Yes or no? So how did he die? Anyone can tell me? How did he die? अश्वत्थामा, उनका बेटा था अश्वत्थामा, बहुत प्यार करते थे, उनकी जिंदगी में और कुछ नहीं था, ग्रामीण फैमिली से थे, 2 वक्त का खाना मिल जाता था, बेटा ही था उनका. So what Pandavas and Krishna did, they announced that Ashwathama मर गया. अश्वत्थामा एक हाथी था, same नाम से, भीम ने उसको मारा, and he claimed, I have killed Ashwathama. Dronacharya was shocked. He went to Yudhishthir. What's that? भाई ठीक बोल रहे क्या? Yudhishthir said, हाँ, अश्वत्थामा मर गया. But the actual fact, the fine prince, कि आपका बेटा नहीं एक हाथी, he said very slowly, and at the time Krishna ji also blew the conch, शंख बजा रही. So he didn't listen to the complete facts. Half research किए. Right? During that time, we remember whenever there was a sunset, they used to stop fighting, go back to their camp, meet all their families, check the wounded. He could have done a physical verification, na? बेटा जिंदा है कि मर गया, लाश कहाँ है? He acted on half facts, half information, did not complete his research, which led to his downfall. Same thing will happen to us as professionals if we choose not to do complete research. हमें भी complete research कोई बात पे करना है. गगन ने बोला मत मानिए. If I am telling you something, don't accept it as it is. Do your research. If a news has come on WhatsApp or in some app, okay, that may be a reference for you to start, but not to conclude. Okay. So what we'll cover today is assessments. What are the type of assessments? Scrutiny assessments. What are the type of it? Audit, we'll look into it. What are the best practice and insights to ensure fair assessment and proper audit? That will be taken by Madhukar sir primarily. And we'll have a question and answer. And one advantage we should take of these numbers is that please keep it interactive. If there are 200 people, you might feel, yaar, kaise question puche itne logon mein. We are a closed group. We can ask, and this applies to the online participants as well. Shyam, they're allowed to ask questions. Perfect. So please interrupt me at any time. Say, I have a question, please ask it. Okay. So we'll start with assessment and scrutiny. So I have very limited time. So stop me and tell Gagan, please elaborate. मैं उसको और detail में बोलूँगा. So what are the type of assessments we have? We only know about ASMT 10 assessment was scrutiny or ASMT. That is just one. There are different types of assessment. Self-assessment. Okay, Gagan, we know what is so special about it. We'll see. Provisional assessment, scrutiny assessment. This is what ASMT 1061. Assessment of non-filers, unregistered person, and summary assessment. So we'll look into it, all of it. Prime focus would be 61. How many of you have dealt with ASMT 10 notices in your life? देखा है कभी ASMT 10 का notice? Perfect. State का ASM. Anyone has seen West Bengal State ASMT 10 notice? Okay, good. So, like Ankit also mentioned this. What happens after assessment? There might be audit, there might be inspection in a separate case, search. All these leads to demand and recovery. And that is how we have structured our series as well. So self-assessment, very basic. The government believes in you, asks you to self-assess your liability and file your returns. No point, no issues. So self-assessment. Quick. What is the section for definitions in GST? If you have to look for meaning of any word, which section will you rush to? Section 2. वहाँ पे alphabetically दिया हुआ है. So I'll go to section 2. Look what is the meaning of self-assessment. Then we'll find out assessment. Sorry, assessment includes reassessment. We'll see. Okay, self-assessment includes reassessment. But reassessment is nowhere defined in the act. There is no. Is there any reassessment section? There is self-assessment, provisional assessment, but there's no reassessment section. Okay. Now, what happens in self-assessment? We have to do it monthly or quarterly, whatever we file the returns. Whether reassessment permissible, if I have self-assessed some liability and paid, can I go back and say, no, what I have done was wrong. I want to reassess my liability and pay something different. Can I do that? Yes, you are right. It's one option to do it. Very good. Otherwise, can I do it? 990 is one. DRC 03, if you have to reduce, DRC 03 is to pay. But if you want to reduce, subsequent 3B, subsequent R1. That is some of the methods for you to reassess. Correct?
अगर वो टाइम चला गया
तो सर उसका हम लोग अलग लिटिगेशन देखेंगे कि वो टाइम लिमिट से रेस्ट्रिक्शन हो सकता है कि नहीं. Perfect. Demand and recovery, when we see, there is a specific provision which says that if you have declared some liability in your R1, let's say 100 rupees, and in your 3B you have disclosed 80 rupees. So the difference 20 which is there in your R1 is your self-assessed liability. Correct? And then it says that this is a fit case for recovery. Tax payable in respect of details furnished in R1 but not paid in 3B shall be considered as self-assessed, and it is a fit case for recovery. And then there is a recovery mechanism for that as well. Section 75. के बाद आपको Section 79 की recovery mechanisms है. But then they also say that भाई सीधा recovery मत करो, एक बार पूछ लो उससे. So one thing we have to look over here is, if I have by mistake disclosed the liability in R1, but while filing 3B I realized that was not my liability, because of which I have not given it in my 3B. So filing of 3B after filing of R1, can I not say that this is my reassessment for that same very month? And if reassessment is permissible in self-assessment, that means my self-assessed liability is as per 3B and not as per R1. So how can, by way of an explanation to a subsection, they can say, no, in every case of R1 being more than 3B, it is a case of self-assessed tax and fit case for recovery. तो ऐसा नहीं है. Is that all right? छोटी सी point है. If we are proactive, इस reason से, if you have a genuine reason, there will be no demand on this aspect. But if you are not active, they'll start with recovery. Okay.
नहीं सर, अगर B2B सप्लाई रिपोर्ट कर दिया है, आपने GST R1 उसको करेक्ट नहीं किया, ठीक है, तो 3B में लायबिलिटी कम डिस्चार्ज किया है, तो आप रीअसेस कैसे बोलोगे? चाहे तो आपने क्रेडिट पास ऑन कर दिया, ओके, अगर B2B सप्लाई कर दिया तो क्रेडिट भी तो पास ऑन हो गया ना.
परफेक्ट सर. क्रेडिट पास ऑन का एक ऑप्शन हो गया, बट क्रेडिट पास ऑन इन एसेंस हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है, उसके 2B में दिखेगा. बट उसको क्रेडिट मिलने के लिए सिर्फ वो कंडीशन नहीं है 2B में देखना, उसको और 5 कंडीशन भी फुलफिल करना. पहला बात. दूसरा बात, माय पॉइंट इज, इफ आई हैव सेल्फ असेस्ड समथिंग एंड देन देयर इज another reassessment by way of reduction in my liability, and if you have realized it within time, there is an option to rectify. Otherwise, you have 99C. Let us say you have not done within the time, but you have done in 99C. 99C का time generally उस rectification के बाद होता है. Generally आप उसके पहले भी फाइल कर सकते हो, और दिसंबर बाद आता है. आज के डेट में नवंबर के.
और एक सिचुएशन हो सकता है कि लास्ट ईयर का जो है वो DRC में पेमेंट कर दिया, लेकिन और मुझे बात कर दिखा है इन सितंबर और नवंबर, तो उसका डिफरेंस आ सकता है. तो मेरा तो क्लैरिफिकेशन है.
हाँ, exactly. See, one small point in GST, there will be certain questions by the department. ऐसा क्यों हो? Now, in your part, you might have a valid logical answer for it, or you might not have a logical answer for it. So, if you have a logical answer to it, there can never be a demand on it. There can never be a demand on it. But we have to keep that in mind. Okay, my transaction is correct. I have reported it here and there. That needs to be expected. अब उसकी नजर में सोचो, empathy, ऑफिसर की नजर से सोचो. ऑफिसर भी तो आपसे पूछ ही रहा है कि गड़बड़ी हुआ क्यों हुआ बताओ. How would he assume कि नहीं आपने जो किया नेट ऑफ पकड़ ले? You have to explain, okay, ये यहाँ पे ज्यादा हुआ, ये यहाँ पे. I'll give you one quick example. GSTR 2A 100 rupees. GSTR 2A 100 rupees. 3B I have filed 105 rupees. Notice will come and say, what is this 5? Please explain. So when I did credit matching, I found out that 25 rupees are there in my claim 3B which I have filed, which is not there in the 2A. And another 20 rupees is there in 2A which I have not claimed. So the initial notice was of demand of 5 rupees. If it goes into detail, the demand could be of 25 rupees. अगर वो 20 लेने का टाइम है आप ले सकते हो, 20 लेने का टाइम नहीं है और if it is ineligible, you cannot claim it now. So your 5 rupees of prima facie demand can turn up into correct. So today, two primary things that we'll be discussing: ASMP 10 scrutiny notice and audit. We'll discuss this point that if an amount is demanded in a ASMP 10 5 rupees in ASMP 10 5 रुपए डिमांड करेगा ना, okay, we'll see to it. क्यों 5 ही करेगा, क्यों 25 पे नहीं जाएगा? Let's say you accepted and you paid 5, बोला कि यार पता कर लेगा पूरा तो 25 ले लेगा, दे 5 दे क्लोज कर दिया. उसके बाद ऑडिट आया तो क्या वो आपसे 25 बचा हुआ 20 नहीं मांग सकता है? मांग सकता है. तो देखिए आप लोग खुद ही आंसर दे रहे हैं कि यार लॉ में भी पावर्स है कि नहीं. वील सी, हाँ लॉ में पावर्स है. प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट वेरी क्विक, आपको खुद नहीं पता कितना. यस सर,
लास्ट लाइन में जाएंगे. अगर लो ये बोलता है कि जीएसटीआर 1 में आप जो लायबिलिटी डिक्लेयर कर दिया, दैट इज सेल्फ असेस्ड लायबिलिटी. अपने ये प्रज्यूम कर रहे हैं कि 3B जो है वो अपना रीअसेसमेंट है. आपका यही आर्गुमेंट है.
इट कुड बी सेड दैट इफ इट इज वैलिड. सच में शॉर्ट पेमेंट है तब तो नहीं होगा.
नहीं सच में नहीं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ जेन्युइन भूल है, उसमें नहीं जा रहा हूँ. सच में है तो वो तो लायबिलिटी है. लेकिन अगर लॉ में इस तरह का है तो हमको रीअसेसमेंट का ये इस तरह का लीगल प्रोविजन कहाँ है?
है ना सर, सेल्फ असेसमेंट. दिस इज अ सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेशन टू सबसेक्शन 12 of 75 says that this is the self assessed tax. R1 more, 3B less is self assessed tax. And self assessment,
तो which one is correct?
self assessment includes reassessment. Self assessment is including of reassessment. When it says कि आपको जो 3B R1 में लगाना है, that is your self assessment, section 59. और ये केस में बोलता है कि this is the case of self assessed tax. तो क्यों मेरा R1 ज्यादा के बाद जब 3B मैंने लगाया, why cannot be a case of reassessment where reassessment is including in the definition of self assessment? मैं अगले महीने कर देता तो आपको प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती. मैं इस बार 3B भी R1 के बराबर लगाता, अगले बार R1 भी ठीक करता, 3B भी कम कर देता, तो आपको प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती. मैंने इसी महीने कर दिया तो आपको प्रॉब्लम हो गई. फॉर दैट रीजन इन दैट सर्कुलर आल्सो दिस सेज, जिसके ऊपर ये आया था कि आप सीधा सीधे रिकवरी मत करना, एक बार पूछ लेना उससे कि क्यों डिफरेंस, आइदर पे और एक्सप्लेन. इट इज नॉट एक्सप्लेन और पे और एक्सप्लेन. सो इफ यू एक्सप्लेन दे विल ड्रॉप द डिमांड, दे विल नॉट क्रिएट इट ना.
75 के बाद जो वो लोग 79 में रिकवरी का प्रोविजंस,
करेक्ट,
that is hampering. They are writing in the notice, if you don't pay, we will initiate recovery process.
बट सर उसमें हमें एक्सप्लेनेशन देके उसको नॉक ऑफ करवा.
एक्सप्लेनेशन अभी आ गया, 88B जो है रिड्यूस हो गया, वो
करेक्ट, वो चेंज हो गया. क्योंकि ये भी इलॉजिकल है ना सर. मान लो मेरा एक पर्टिकुलर मंथ 1 R1 was 100, 3B was 150. Next month logically my 3B will be less by 50 and the department only looks at my second month and says 50 रुपया शॉर्ट है, पेमेंट करो. तो वी कैन ऑलवेज से ना भैया पहले 50 रुपए ज्यादा था, वही शॉर्ट है. तो दिस शुड नॉट बी अ केस. सो दिस इज रिलैक्स. आपको ऐसा नहीं सीधा रिकवरी करेंगे, मौका देंगे, नहीं देंगे मौका तो दे आर नॉट फॉलोइंग द प्रोसीजर ऑफ लॉ. यू कैन आस्क फॉर एन अपॉर्चुनिटी. बहुत सारे जनरल प्रिंसिपल्स भी है. ओके, प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट. जब यू डोंट नो योरसेल्फ व्हाट शुड बी द वैल्यू और द रेट, यू गो टू द डिपार्टमेंट, से टेल मी प्रोविजनली हाउ मच आई शुड पे टैक्स. They will give you a provisional assessment order within 90 days. Procedures है. They will ask you to furnish a bond and a bank guarantee to 25% of the bond amount that he will fix. इतना देना है और 6 महीने में फाइनल असेसमेंट ऑर्डर आपको पास करेंगे. प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट आप यूज करोगे जहां पे आपको खुद. तो सर एडवांस रूलिंग क्या है सर? एडवांस रूलिंग भी दूसरा है, बट वहां पे आप प्रपोज टू बी ट्रांजैक्शन कर चुके हो या कोई ट्रांजैक्शन हो चुका है उसके लिए जा रहे हो. यहाँ पे योर लेट अस से with respect to a particular price escalation clause of your contract, you are not too much sure कि इसका impact कैसे आना है मेरे liability पे. With respect to time of supply, with respect to valuation, with respect to rate, तो आप provisional assessment का एक option explore कर सकते हो. bond and security you have to give. इस पे आ रहा है, we have to spend some time over here. This is scrutiny of returns. Scrutiny of returns. ASMT 10, very good. If you have seen state ASMT 10, look at it. It is very beautiful, very much organized as compared to centers ASMT 10. As of now that I have seen, content एक ही होता है. So what is the basis? Who will select the file for ASMT 10 scrutiny? Officer? नहीं. Officer नहीं select करता है. ऑफिसर को उसका बॉस लिस्ट ऑफ क्लाइंट्स भेज देता है, चलो इस का काम करो. बॉस इज एडवेट डीजीआरएम और भी ऐसे 3-4 उनके पोर्टल्स के रिस्क पैरामीटर्स के एनालिसिस में फाइल्स आर सिलेक्टेड एंड सेंड टू ईच ज्यूरिसडिक्शन कि आपको इस आदमियों का स्क्रूटनी करना है एंड विद अ डिफाइंड टाइमलाइंस कि इतने दिन में आपको ये बनाना है, इतने दिन में कंप्लीट करना है. आफ्टर दे डू ऑल दैट, देन ASMT 10 letter comes to us. Now, what is the basis of creating figures and for जो भी figures आते हैं ASMT 10 में ऑफिसर बनाता है, उसका basis क्या है? What is the basis? Information furnished by taxpayer and as available on the portal. ई-वे बिल का डेटा भी ले सकता है, जो मैंने शायद नहीं लगाया, सामने वाले ने मेरे नाम पे आउटपुट सप्लाई लगा दिया तो भी मिल सकता है, वो सारे डिटेल्स मिल सकते हैं. वो आपसे डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं मांगेगा ASMT 10 इशू करने के पहले. He cannot ask. He give me certain documents, then I will issue ASMT 10. No, sir, you first issue ASMT 10, then I'll reply and then we'll move. So, is it not more or less a mathematical check? 3B-R1, 3B-2A, RCM 3B-2A, RCM paid credit claimed, और भी छोटे-छोटे चीजें which we will discuss. Then you have a time period of 30 days to reply to it. So what happens? Let us say when you get an ASMT 10 notice, आप उसमें पढ़ोगे, it is written that please furnish a response within 15 days, failing which we will proceed with whatever is the legal action. You have read, अगर ये गगन बोल के गया था 30 दिन, ये ऑफिसर बोल रहा है 15 दिन, read the law. Section 61, 30 days है, you can definitely ask for minimum 15 days. Beyond that also he can give if he feels, but और 15 दिन up to 30 days को देने का उसको कानून में बाध्य है वो. He is bound to give 30 days time. Perfect. Now you will give your response, which he may. Yes, sir. Okay. So he may choose to accept it. He may choose to accept it, or he may choose not to accept it. उसका choice उसके मन से नहीं होगा. He has to have reason if he is satisfied or not. So if he is satisfied, if you have furnished the reply, if he is satisfied, आ नहीं रहा है, तो ASMT 12 में आपको closure आएगा. ASMT 12. This is very important. So a lot of time people ask me, अंकित हम लोग भी बहुत डिस्कस करते हैं, डिपार्टमेंट कोई केस इनिशिएट किया मेरे खिलाफ, तो इस सैटिस्फैक्शन मैंने उसको ऑडिट के बाद ये जो भी है उसका मैंने उसको रिस्पांस दे दिया. अब उसका मेरे पास कोई ऑर्डर नहीं आया कि हाँ आपका सब ओके है, आपका कोई डिमांड नहीं है. मैं बोला हाँ नहीं आएगा ऑर्डर, क्योंकि इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स, सर्विस टैक्स, एक्साइज आप देखो, इट सेज दैट इफ देयर इज अ डिमांड ऑफ टैक्स, interest of duty, then there will be a show cause notice, then there will be an order. तो जब तक कोई डिमांड नहीं है, शो कॉज नहीं है, तो दैट मींस कोई एक केस आज चालू हुआ, उसका केस क्लोज हो गया, दैट केस इज क्लोज, आई कैन बिल इट टू द क्लाइंट नाउ. वो कब पता चलेगा? जब तक शो कॉज आने का ड्यू डेट बाकी है वो आ सकता है. ठीक है, देयर आर लीगल बैटल्स सेपरेट, दैट इफ notification was done 3 years ago, issuance of show cause notice 3 years after that, tribunal की कुछ judgments है, you can चलते तो बात का बात है. But okay, there is no closure unless there is a demand. But in assessment, it says if the case is accepted, demand is dropped, you will receive a 12, ASMT 12. So whenever we are doing any assignments of ASMT scrutiny, 12 लेना is the prime importance. Okay. Yes, sir.
इसमें आपने 10 का जैसे रिप्लाई सबमिट
हाँ
आज 2 महीने 3 महीने बीत जाते हैं, कोई भी वहां पर जब जाके देखते हैं अंडर प्रोसेस, इसका कोई उनके लिए भी टाइम है बाउंडेड है कि
12 उनको विद इन 30 डेज देना है। नहीं आ रहा तो समझ के चलो वो नहीं एक्सेप्ट किया, वो आगे 73 74 में जाने वाला है।
जैसे सपोज एएसएमटी में 10 इश्यूज या 5 इश्यूज,
हाँ
4 आई एक्सेप्टेड पेड,
हाँ
and 1 I didn't accept it. I asked the officer, you issue me 12.
करेक्ट
He says, no, I don't have that functionality.
करेक्ट। तो वेरी गुड पॉइंट। 10 आइटम्स इन असेसमेंट, 8 ही हैज एक्सेप्टेड, 2 पे खाली डिमांड बनाना है। तो 2 के लिए ही विल गिव मी 73 74 का शो कॉज नोटिस, प्री शो कॉज व्हाटएवर इट इज। मैंने बोला कि 8 जो क्लोज हो गया है वो तो दे दो, बट टेक्निकली इन देयर पोर्टल दे आर अनेबल टू डू इट। But Ankit, can we not look at it like this, that ASMT 10 was on 10 points, pursuant to that show cause is on 2 points, that means 8 is deemed accepted?
But that 8 up to the last day of show cause can be reopened. Or say any other authority comes.
Technically, yes, it can be
Or
reopened.
otherwise, if I pay through DRC 03, they should issue me 4.
Correct, 100%.
Anything like that.
Correct. No, no, it is not, definitely not. 50% retract करो, दादी को कैसे तो लगा है। हाँ, ऐसे नहीं करा यार, ये समझ पर फेक आइडेंटिटी का क्या होगा तो चाहते हैं ना, फेक आइडेंटिटी का बात है। अभी सेमिनार में का यूट्यूब पर मतलब technical authority now इसमें SMT if you accepted 2 points, they drop that, but state authorities ऑनलाइन है, उनको SMT 12 पूरा के पूरा क्लोज करना होगा, नहीं तो कर नहीं सकते। हाँ वही तो अंकित ने भी वही पॉइंट बोला। He only said this point that if you close everything by saying or if I am satisfied तब मैं 12 दूंगा, नहीं तो it is open। आगे आपको 7। So what can happen if he is not accepting? He can issue a show cause notice 73 74 में उसकी adjudication होगी, or he feels that information is not sufficient to quantify the demand now, I need to further look into the documents, then he will refer this case for audit। 65 में audit के लिए वो refer कर देगा। दोनों ऑप्शन पॉसिबल हो सकता है।
उसका एक सवाल, अगर 65 में ऑडिट हो चुका है तो कोई असेसमेंट कर सकता है क्या?
हाँ वेरी गुड।
तो 5 से 61 स्कूटनी कर सकते हैं ना उसे।
तो correct me Ankit if I am wrong, section nowhere blocks it, substance over form it is of no use, but section nowhere blocks it। Parallel proceedings there is a provision, there are a lot of judicial proceedings,
कंक्लूड हो गया then
but I'll tell you from my experience that we have had cases where we got ASMT 10 notice after audit, we intimated them that ये हो चुका है आप बोलेगा, and they have dropped it, they have not proceeded further।
में जो हो जाएगा वो नहीं होगा।
नहीं, लेकिन उसमें कई बार ये
10 के बाद ASMT के बाद ऑडिट कोई सकता है, तो ASMT is limited मैथमेटिकल चेक।
कई बार ये ऑडिट होता था कि सर्विस टैक्स में भी होता था कि आपका ऑडिट हो गया, उसके बाद कोई पॉइंट को उठाए, उसके बाद बोलते हैं आपके ऑडिट में ये पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट कवर हुआ था कि नहीं हुआ था।
सर हम लोग एक बार ना 64 देखेंगे तो शायद कुछ पता चलेगा। एक बार 64 पे आएंगे इसके लिए। 64 है अपने पीपीटी में। हाँ हाँ डेफिनेटली मिस्टर सहनी का बोला तो नहीं बैठा। Okay, just one quick point before he speaks. If you have not furnished his reply, तो 12 तो of course नहीं देगा ना, accept तो करेगा नहीं, तो उस केस में उसको 15 दिन में बोलना भाई शो कॉज करो या ऑडिट करो। रिप्लाई दोगे मतलब he has to look and go through it, तो उसको 30 दिन का टाइम मिलता है।
सर हम लोग SMT 11 दे दी,
हाँ
उसके बाद 12 देने का टाइम
नहीं 30 डेज में उसको देना है, बट अगर वो उसके बाद भी देता तो आप ले लो if he is accepting it, but अगर नहीं दे रहा तो समझ लो 73 74 या उसमें जाना चाहता है। I will come, हाँ सर आपका क्वेश्चन, राकेश सर क्वेश्चन।
सर हमने ASMT 10 आया उसका रिप्लाई कर दिया, रिप्लाई फाइल हुए भी 2 मंथ से अबव हो गए, अभी तक ASMT 12 या कोई फर्दर एक्शन नहीं है AO की तरफ से।
करेक्ट सर।
क्या क्या टाइम बाउंडेशन है सर उनके पास?
परफेक्ट सर। सो इफ करेक्ट सर, सो इफ दैट केस इज रेफर्ड फॉर शो कॉज 73 74 के प्रोसीडिंग्स में अगर वो रेफर करेगा तो he has to give you a show cause and then a order। Now depending on the year for which your ASMT 10 has been done, there is a due date of issuing of show cause and that order। 73 और 74 में 3 years 5 years ऑर्डर का डेट है, उसके शो कॉज के लिए 3 महीना और 6 महीने का डेट है। 73 नॉन फ्रॉड केस 3 महीना का शो कॉज और ऑर्डर के बीच में गैप होना होगा, और 74 फ्रॉड केस में 6 महीने का गैप। तो सर 17-18 के लिए एक्सटेंशन करते करते 31 दिसंबर डेट है अभी 2023, तो 17-18 का अगर आपका केस है तो शो कॉज आपके पास आने के लिए अगर 73 में करेगा तो उसके 3 महीना पहले, नहीं तो 6 महीना पहले आपको अभी भी आ सकता है। तो सर इट्स लाइक पूरा बीत जाए तब तक वेट करो। इज दैट ओके सर? जब तक पूरा वक्त नहीं बीत जाए तब तक वेट करना है। ओके, सो आई विल क्विकली डिस्कस ऑन सम कॉमन पॉइंट्स। क्यों नहीं काम कर रहा? और स्क्रीन पे क्लिक करना होगा। हो गया। So there are certain risk parameters जिसके बेसिस पे आएगा, which we have discussed। 3B/R1 का डिफरेंस हो सकता है, सिस्टम कैलकुलेटेड, मोस्टली ऑफिसर के सामने फिगर आता है, वो आपसे खाली पूछता है। बोलिए सर। तो दो से बोलना होगा ताकि क्वेश्चन सब सुन सके।
ये 70-10 का आपने डेट के बच्चे को 70-18 दिसंबर 23 लास्ट।
ये 70-10 का कोई डेट नहीं होता सर, मुझे आप पर नोटिस इशू करना है। वो नोटिस तक पहुंचने के लिए मेरे पास बहुत सारे रास्ते हैं। To reach to that show cause, it can be ASMT, it can be audit, it can be inspection, it can be search।
70-10 की कोई डेट नहीं।
शो कॉज का डेट है, शो कॉज तक पहुंचने के पहले मैं कोई भी हथियार चुन सकता हूँ, हथियार चुनने का कोई डेट नहीं है।
का डेट क्या है? दिसंबर
17-18 के अभी दिसंबर है, बढ़ के जनरली इट इज 5 years। सर 17-18 के लिए दिसंबर 23 भी बहुत ज्यादा टाइम है।
आपका एसएमटी क्या है?
17-18 के लिए
नहीं है
सर। सितंबर आई थिंक अक्टूबर के बाद नहीं आएगा। अक्टूबर क्या, उसके भी अगर हम 1 महीना पहले पकड़े, आप सर इसको बैक कैलकुलेट करो, अगर उसको 73 में भी शो कॉज करना है तो 3 महीने का गैप रखना है, तो मतलब अक्टूबर नवंबर 30 सितंबर तक उसको मेरे को शो कॉज देना है। 30 सितंबर तक शो कॉज देना है, उसके 30 दिन के अंदर में मेरे रिप्लाई के बीच में उसको टाइम रखना है, और मेरे रिप्लाई और एएसएमटी 10 के बीच में 30 दिन रखना है। तो 2 महीना तो एएसएमटी 10 और शो कॉज के बीच में उसको रखना है।
तो 74 के लिए तो एएसएमटी 10 73 के बाद भी दे सकते।
हाँ 74 में अगर जाएगा तो उसके पास बहुत टाइम। हाँ अगर 73 में वो जा रहा है, दैट इज नॉन फ्रॉड केस। और अंकित विल एग्री, सर्विस टैक्स टाइम से 95% मोर केसेस आई हैव सीन इन फ्रॉड केस ओनली। कि नॉन फ्रॉड तो है ही नहीं आपका।
सर 2 और 3 का डिफरेंस आता है, इसके लिए 70 को छोड़ सकते हैं।
आएंगे सर, अभी आएंगे। तो एक छोटा सा पर्ची उसी के लिए करेंगे। ओके, आई जस्ट डिस्कस क्विक पॉइंट्स, कॉमन इश्यूज ASMT 10। द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू 17-18 स्टेट में यू विल सी दिस, होगा ही होगा। दे विल से दैट there is a provision of 16(4) कि आप कोई भी बिल का क्रेडिट, if you want to take credit of any tax invoice, what is the last date till which you can claim it in your 3B? After that, if you claim, so it is not allowed. Okay, and there is another provision which says that if the other person has uploaded his R1 after a certain date, मतलब आपके 2B में एक समय के बाद दिख रहा है तो आपको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। तो 17-18 में what was the last date to claim credit in my 3B? 11 या 13 मार्च, अप्रैल, मार्च का R1 का डेट, मार्च का 3B में, मार्च का 3B में मैं लास्ट क्लेम कर सकता हूं। बट इज दैट द रेगुलर टाइमलाइन टू क्लेम क्रेडिट फॉर अ फाइनेंशियल ईयर? नो, रेगुलर वाज सितंबर का रिटर्न। तो फॉर द फर्स्ट ईयर दे गिव एन एक्स्ट्रा एडवांटेज। प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस, मैं जो अभी बता रहा हूं दिस इज ओनली फॉर 17-18 फॉर नाउ। So 17-18 they gave an extra benefit that it is the first year of GST, you might have missed taking credit in your 3B till September also। अगले साल 18 सितंबर 18 तक भी नहीं लिया और 6 महीने का टाइम दे देंगे, बट एक कंडीशन के साथ, जो क्रेडिट आपने 17-18 सितंबर 18 के बाद और मार्च 19 के पहले 6 महीने में लिया है, वो आपको तभी मिलेगा जब वो 2A में रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाएगा टिल मार्च 19 का R1 which was 11 अप्रैल। इस पॉइंट तक लॉ में, ये लॉ में लिखा हुआ है, इस पॉइंट तक लॉ में 2A में एंट्री दिखना सामने वाले का R1 फाइल होना was never a condition। मैं 17-18 की बात कर रहा हूं। 2B में दिखने का 1 जनवरी 2022 से चालू हुआ है, पहले का नहीं है। So the extra 6-month benefit given was under a condition that if you want to claim your credit in this 6 months, then the R1 should have been filed by this date. 1, very good. Now, ASMT 10 is issued on the basis of information available with the officers. He will look at your 2A and see which of those 2A the vendor has filed the R1 after 11th of April 2019. He will total it, ASMT 10 में आपको डाल देगा कि इतना आपका 2A का वेंडर है जिसने अपना R1 11 अप्रैल 2019 के बाद लगाया 17-18 को। तो ही इज इन द प्रिजम्पशन कि हम तो इसका डिसअलाउंस करेंगे और आपको 16/4 का इसका नोटिस आएगा। 17-18 के लिए मैं बता रहा हूं। सो व्हाट इज आवर डिफेंस? व्हाट शुड बी आवर डिफेंस इन दिस केस? इज द क्वेश्चन क्लियर? व्हाट शुड बी द डिफेंस? व्हाट कुड बी द डिफेंस? बहुत सिंपल है ना सर। मैं बोल रहा हूं कि सर ये इसके लिए है 17-18 एक्सटेंडेड पीरियड में अगर आप क्लेम कर रहे हो तो 2A में आना लॉ में लिखा है। अब लॉ को चैलेंज करिएगा अंकित के मदद से, वो अलग बात है, बट लॉ में लिखा है अभी के रेट में। 2A बाकी चीज के लिए देखना लॉ में नहीं लिखा है, मानते हैं, बट ये एक्सटेंडेड पीरियड 17-18 में अगर आप बेनिफिट लेंगे तो 2A में देखना लॉ में है। तो व्हाट कुड बी योर पॉसिबल डिफेंस ऑन दिस? सर पहले ये तो एस्टैब्लिश कर लो whether the alleged party those credits I have claimed in that extended period or in my regular period. Now to give your explanation, if you simply say नहीं नहीं इसका क्रेडिट मैंने एक्सटेंडेड पीरियड में नहीं लिया, रेगुलर पीरियड में लिया है, ऑफिसर बोलेगा प्रूफ तो करो। If I am satisfied, you have to satisfy whether you are saying correct or not. That means इस एस्पेक्ट में आपको अपना बुक सोर्स को, लेजर्स और डिटेल्स को दिखाना पड़ेगा to satisfy if you want to get the amount reduced. That is one part. 16/4 स्टेट में बाय डिफॉल्ट आपको आएगा ही आएगा अगर वो आपका पार्टी का डेट का फाइलिंग बाहर है, जस्ट बिकॉज आप लॉ पढ़ोगे 16/4 अरे यार शिट तो लिखा है यहाँ पे कि डेट के बाद का R1 में नहीं देंगे, बट साथ में ये भी कंडीशन है कि उसका क्रेडिट में एक्सटेंडेड पीरियड में लिया हूं, पहले लिया हो तो नहीं मिलेगा। आप 9 चेक करिए 17-18 का 9 GSTR 9 you would have disclosed how much credit you have carried forward or you have claimed in the next years 8C. If you have not claimed any credit of 17-18 and 18-19 तो आपका आंसर तो वहीं से खत्म हो रहा है, सर हमने इस साल का क्रेडिट अगले साल में ही नहीं लिया तो एक्सटेंडेड पीरियड में लेने का तो बात ही नहीं। क्लियर? थोड़ा थोड़ा वेरी गुड। नेक्स्ट आपको आएगा सर 42 का रिवर्सल, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। आपने GSTR 9 फाइल किया, यू हैव फाइल्ड योर GSTR 9, you would have disclosed these are my taxable turnover, table 4 of GSTR 9, table 5 में you would have disclosed these are my exempt turnover। और जब अपन GSTR 9 उस समय भरे इंटरेस्ट इनकम सच का एग्जाम टर्नओवर जो था सारा एग्जाम टर्नओवर में दिखा दिया। अब ऑफिसर बोला अच्छा एग्जाम टर्नओवर टैक्सेबल टर्नओवर, यहां पे तो रिवर्सल आ जाएगा आपका इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट का, करेक्ट? देयर इज अ प्रोविजन 17(2) रेड विथ रूल 42-43, you have to reverse credit in proportion to taxable and exempt turnover of your common ITC. Now officer is saying कि I know there is a taxable and exempt supply, I know you have claimed some amount of input tax credit, सब दिख रहा है मेरे को आपके 3B में 2A में सब, but I do not know how much of it is common credit. So how to create a demand on you which can be the maximum? तो वो आपका रेशियो निकालेगा exempt turnover to taxable turnover, gross ITC that you have claimed, demand आपको ASMT 10 में भेज देगा। You will first you will check the value of exempt turnover, is that correct or not? Interest income is not included in value of exempt turnover, ये रूल में दिया हुआ है। ड्यूटी क्रेडिट स्क्रिप्ट उस साल के लिए था, बाद के लिए नहीं है। There are certain items which is not a not exempt turnover, exempt supply। तो पहले तो आप उस रेशियो को ठीक कराओगे अगर ठीक कराना है तो। सेकंड बोलना है कि जो आईटीसी है वो ग्रॉस आईटीसी है, कॉमन आईटीसी नहीं है। अगेन यू हैव टू गिव देम एन एक्सप्लेनेशन कि ये मेरा पूरा आईटीसी है, इसमें से ये ऐसा ऐसा ऐसा। So I'll quickly take one example. There is an SSE who is a trader. He purchases lot of type of different varieties of goods and sells it. Some of the items that he purchases and sells are taxable. Some of the items are exempt. Now whatever ITC I have claimed on account of purchases, can it by any stretch of imagination be attributable to both taxable and exempt supply? मैं taxable माल खरीदा बेचा, exempt माल खरीदने के लिए कोई टैक्स दूंगा, तो मेरा जो परचेज का आईटीसी है वो तो सेल्स पे आउटपुट टैक्स मैंने दिया ही होगा ना। इट इज ओनली कॉमन क्रेडिट्स लाइक रेंट, बैंक चार्जेस, प्रोफेशनल चार्जेस, कॉमन ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, कॉमन वेयरहाउसिंग, विच वुड लीड टू, तो आपको यहां पे भी कॉमन एटीसी की वर्किंग करनी है। नेक्स्ट, क्रेडिट नोट। व्हाट हैपेंस, आपके 2A में क्रेडिट नोट दिखेगा, इनपुट भी दिखेगा, क्रेडिट नोट भी दिखेगा। इन योर 3B, हाउ वुड यू डिस्क्लोज योर क्रेडिट नोट्स? अभी का नहीं, पुराना। नेट ऑफ, somebody is saying reversal, other reversals 3B में there was no guideline, दोनों सही है, कोई गलत नहीं। आपने नेट ऑफ किया तो वो चिट्ठी भेजेगा कि क्रेडिट नोट तो दिख रहा है, ये क्रेडिट नोट आपने रिवर्स किया कि नहीं किया मुझे नहीं पता, एक्सप्लेनेशन दो, नहीं तो पूरा क्रेडिट नोट का टैक्स पे दो। तो आप समझ रहे हो, AS 10 आने का बेसिस है because he does not have complete information, exact information, he will give you a notice of the maximum amount। डरने का बात नहीं।
सर क्रेडिट नोट पार्टी किया है,
हाँ, पार्टी ने क्रेडिट नोट चढ़ा दिया
चला दिया,
और आपको पता नहीं, पैसा मांगे उसे जाके वापस, बोलिए मेरा लेजर में तो 4 आइटम खरीदा हुआ दिखा रहा है, हम इसका पेमेंट आपको कर दिया, आप एक एडिशनल क्रेडिट नोट दिखा रहा है, मतलब हमको पैसा नहीं देना था, हमको पूरा दे दिया, चलिए मेरा पैसा वापस करिए। वो 18% का क्रेडिट नोट चढ़ा है, उसे 100 रुपया वापस मांगिए पूरा। दिस इज करेक्ट, आप जो बोल रहे हो विच इज ट्रू। मैं आज ही अपने बहुत ही मतलब समझ लो पापा का केस ऐसा ही करके आया हूँ कि 17-18 का एक पार्टी क्रेडिट नोट दिखाया, आई वाज नॉट अवेयर, विच इज ट्रू, बट यू हैव टू लुक इनटू इट। मैं नेक्स्ट पॉइंट डिस्कस करूंगा और फिर आप लोग सबसे पूछूंगा ये केस उसमें एप्लीकेबल होता है कि नहीं। वेरी वैलिड पॉइंट। 3B वर्सेस 2A, वेरी सिंपल, वेरी कॉमन, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, सबको मिलेगा। 3B वर्सेस 2A क्या करना है, यहां पे आएगा कि 2A में इतना दिख रहा है, 3B में इतना लिया, टैक्स दो। सर रिमेंबर 5 रुपया 25 रुपया, वो बोलेगा 5 रुपया दो। अब क्या करोगे, व्हाट विल यू डू, यू विल चेक, यू विल आइडेंटिफाई। लेट अस से सिंपल एग्जांपल, यू फाउंड आउट ये 5 रुपया है जो नहीं है, व्हाट विल यू डू? आज के दिन में आप क्या करोगे? डिक्लेरेशन। सर डिक्लेरेशन का बात क्यों आया, व्हाई द कंसेप्ट ऑफ डिक्लेरेशन? फर्स्ट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट 2A reflection was not a criteria for 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 21, 22, 9 months। जनवरी 22 से चालू हुआ है लॉ में, तो 2A reflection was not a criteria। Now department still wanted to create a demand, लाइव रखना है मैटर को, क्या बोल के रख दिया, 16(2)C बोल के रख दिया कि इस ट्रांजैक्शन का टैक्स हैज नॉट बीन एक्चुअली पेड टू द गवर्नमेंट। इसीलिए हमको डाउट, और क्यों रीजन टू सस्पिशन है ऑफिसर का, क्योंकि सामने वाले ने R1 में आपका नाम नहीं चढ़ाया, तो हो सकता है इसमें उसका टैक्स भी नहीं दिया होगा, तो आई हैव अ रीजन टू सस्पेक्ट। नाउ यू हैव क्लेम्ड ITC, इट इज योर बर्डन टू प्रूव the conditions of credit has been fulfilled, one of which is tax has been actually paid to the government। आप प्रूफ करने बैठो और हम क्या जवाब देंगे, lex non cogit ad impossibilia, एक लैटिन टर्म है जहां पे हम बोलते हैं कि लॉ कैनॉट कंपेल मी टू डू समथिंग विच इज इम्पॉसिबल। सामने वाले ने टैक्स जमा दिया कि नहीं दिया, आप ऑफिसर आप पता करिए, हमको कैसे पता चलेगा? 3B फाइल किया कि नहीं किया ये पता चलता है, मान लो नहीं किया, DRC से पेमेंट किया होगा, मेरे पास क्या ऑप्शन है पता करने का? एक्चुअली पेड टू द गवर्नमेंट, वो फेक ITC लेके किया कि जेन्युइन ITC किया, हमको क्या पता? तो आपका काम है, मेरा काम नहीं है, ना मेरे पास कोई टूल्स है टू कंक्लूड दिस। तो हम वो लड़ाई कर रहे थे, लड़ाई चल रहा था, सरकार बोला सुनो ऐसे परेशान करेंगे SSC लोग को तो नहीं चलेगा, मारेगा ये। तो एक सर्कुलर ले आया, सर्कुलर 183। What did it say? 17, 18, 19 के लिए अभी लाया। 3B to a mismatch। बोला कि what confirmation do I need now? The tax has been paid. So there can be 4 different scenarios which they have identified कि why it is not coming in your 2A. If it is one of those 4 situations, you take a declaration from the vendor or his CA कि supply actual में हुआ है, इस कारण से R1 में डालना मेरे नाम से छूट गया था, but he has paid the tax to the government. Based on this declaration, he will leave me and he will tell to the officer of the supplier कि तुम इसको चेक कर लेना, ये बोल रहा है गगन को माल बेचा है, तो गगन का असेसमेंट, जब उस आदमी का असेसमेंट करोगे तो चेक कर लेना गगन का सप्लाई है कि नहीं यहाँ पे डिक्लेयर। सो व्हाट आर द सिचुएशंस?
अच्छा, इसमें सर ऑफिसर कैलकुलेशन इसका पूछ सकते हैं, जैसे हम लोगों ने डिक्लेरेशन सबमिट किया, ऑफिसर बोला कि आपका जो वेंडर पेड जो किया है उस मंथ का कैलकुलेशंस लेके आओ सारे।
ठीक है, नॉट आस्क, लॉ के हिसाब से नहीं, स्वेच्छा से कुछ भी पूछ सकता है सर, बट लॉ के हिसाब से नहीं पूछ सकता है। He can only refer it to the jurisdictional officer of the supplier। ये डिक्लेरेशन मेरे पास आया, इसको आप देख लेना।
लॉ के हिसाब से तो ऑफिसर तो आप ये भी पूछ रहा है कि अगर अगला वाला पार्टी पेमेंट किया कि नहीं है उसका कंफर्मेशन लेकर।
सर वही मैंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बोला कि उसने पेमेंट किया कि आप कंफर्मेशन लेके आओ, और ये इसी के लिए वो लेक्स नॉन कॉजिट एड पॉसिबिलिया वाला क्लॉज में है। पर सर जहां पे आप कानून ले आएंगे ना बीच में, तो आपको कोर्ट तक लड़ना पड़ेगा, उसके पहले मैटर सल्टेगा नहीं। बड़े अमाउंट में आप लड़ो, छोटे अमाउंट में कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस आप करते हो, एंड दिस सर्कुलर इज कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस। आई टेल यू व्हाई। द प्रोविजन, व्हाट आर द फोर सिचुएशंस क्विकली? हाँ, मेरे को B2B नहीं दिखा के B2C दिखा दिया, ऐसा डिक्लेरेशन दे देगा। मेरे नाम पे GST चढ़ाना था, सर के नाम पे चढ़ा दिया भूल से, वो डिक्लेरेशन दे सकता है। हाँ, वन में दिखाना भूल गया, बट DRC से टैक्स पेमेंट कर दिया।
DRC नहीं है,
टैक्स पेमेंट कर दिया, टैक्स पेमेंट होना चाहिए। अरे DRC से पेमेंट किया, टैक्स
इसलिए से कि TP पेमेंट होना चाहिए।
करेक्ट, यू आर करेक्ट, मेंशन वहां पे 3B ही है, बट अगर आप DRC से भी पेमेंट कर रहे हो, टैक्स हैज बीन पेड टू द गवर्नमेंट, 16C कंप्लायंट हो जा रहा है। Now this declaration is given my end. Now when will you choose to go use this circular? Circulars are not binding on you but binding on the officer. So let us say आपका 3B2A का dispute है 25 लाख रुपए का. You identify these are the 5 vendors of 5 lakh each. अच्छा, ये 5 लाख का भी बता दे रहे। If the amount is less than 5 lakh per GSTN, तो खाली वेंडर का सर्टिफिकेट देने से चल जाएगा, वेंडर के लेटर हेड पे। 5 लाख से ज्यादा तो वो CA। अब आप अपना CA से तो लगाओगे नहीं, उसी का CA को बोलोगे भैया उसका गारंटी लिख के ला के दो, डन। तो 20 lakhs is the 3B2A dispute, 4 lakhs each। हम CA सर्टिफिकेट में नहीं जा रहे। You have identified 5 parties, A, B, C, D, E, इन चारों से 4-4 लाख का डिक्लेरेशन लेना है। आपने सबको फोन किया, 3 पार्टी ने बोला अब भी भेजते हैं सर, भेज दिया। 2 पार्टी में से एक ने आपका फोन भी नहीं उठाया, दूसरा पार्टी बोला कि भैया हम लोग का इतना साल से जो पहले डिस्प्यूट चल रहा है 25 लाख रुपए का, पहले वो क्लियर करो तब ये 4 लाख रुपए का सर्टिफिकेट देंगे तुमको। तो अब आपको पता चल गया कि 12 लाख के लिए तो मेरे पास सर्टिफिकेट या डिक्लेरेशन आ गया, 8 लाख के लिए नहीं आया। तो अब आप ये सर्कुलर का बेनिफिट लेंगे और उसको 12 लाख का डिक्लेरेशन देंगे, तो 12 लाख का आपको रिलीफ दे देगा, 8 लाख का डिमांड क्रिएट करेगा। आप उसको बोलने जाओगे कि बिकॉज दिस सर्कुलर इटसेल्फ कैन बी चैलेंज्ड, सर्कुलर की लीगल वैलिडिटी इटसेल्फ इज चैलेंजेबल। तो आप ऐसा कर सकते हो कि 12 लाख के लिए तो मैं सर्कुलर को फॉलो करके डिक्लेरेशन दे दूंगा और 8 लाख के लिए बोलूंगा कि सर्कुलर इनवैलिड है, सर्कुलर कैन नॉट बी बाइंडिंग। मेरे बहुत सारे एडिशनल कंडीशंस है, बहुत सारे जजमेंट्स है कि फॉर द डिफॉल्ट ऑफ सप्लायर आई कैन नॉट बी आस्क्ड टू पे टैक्स, बहुत सारे जजमेंट्स है, कैलकुलेट हाई कोर्ट को भी भर भर के है। ऑन द सेम थिंग आई कैन नॉट डू, तो दिस इज अ डबल एज स्वॉर्ड। आप देखो आपको बेनिफिट हो रहा है तो आप सर्कुलर के तहत डिक्लेरेशन देके केस खत्म करवाओ, नहीं हो रहा है तो कॉस्ट ऑफ डिस्प्यूट और कॉस्ट ऑफ बेनिफिट के हिसाब से चूज टू लिटिगेट।
डिस्प्यूट मिनिमाइज भी हो, कैन बी मिनिमाइज आल्सो।
सर कैसे होगा मिनिमाइज?
जैसे कि अगर सर्कुलर यूज करके अगर 12 लाख रुपए का अगर मेरा डिमांड है,
हाँ,
सर्कुलर के अगेंस्ट में हम अगर 8 लाख रुपए निकाल रहे हैं तो मेरा क्लाइंट को
तो सर वही मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि कैन आई डू दिस कि मैं सर्कुलर का रेफरेंस लेके 12 लाख का डिक्लेरेशन दूं और 8 लाख के लिए बोलूं कि सर्कुलर के तहत इट इज इनवैलिड, मैं सर्कुलर को बोलूं कि सर्कुलर इनवैलिड है। हाँ सर,
आज ही हुआ।
अच्छा हुआ है क्या? वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, परफेक्ट। तो फिर हम लोग वेट करेंगे सर आपके केस के साथ में। ओके, 3B नॉट फाइल, डिपार्टमेंट के पास सारा इंफॉर्मेशन आता है कि आपकी 2A में ये पार्टी का ये एंट्री दिख रहा है, इस पार्टी ने इस मंथ का 3B फाइल नहीं किया तो आपको नहीं देंगे। कैन आई टेक बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस सर्कुलर अगेन 183?
अगर DRC से किया होगा,
मैं बोल रहा हूं R1 लगाया, 3B नहीं लगा, उल्टा केस। पहले डिक्लेरेशन में था कि R1 में तो नहीं है, पर 3B है। Clear?
नेक्स्ट मंथ तो 3 लगा था, मैंने से वही मैसेज लगाया।
सर 17, 18 में डिस्कसिंग, 18, 19 में अब हो चुका। सर ये जब भी ये सब केस आप करोगे, मैटर वुड हैव बीन कंक्लूडेड बाय देन।
सर आप एग्जांपल में हो से तो इसका रजिस्ट्रेशन अभी कैंसिल हो चुका है।
हाँ सर, वो दूसरा पॉइंट है। 3B नॉट फाइल्ड के बाद रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल। वो दोस्त कोई केसेस आर देयर व्हिच इज नॉट कवर्ड बाय दिस सर्कुलर। तो आप अगर सर्टिफिकेट ला के भी दोगे तो ही विल से दिस इज नॉट गेटिंग कवर्ड इन द सिनेरियोज ऑफ दिस सर्कुलर, आई एम नॉट बाउंड टू एक्सेप्ट इट। आप लिटिगेट करो एंड यू हैव टू लुक एट द केसेस, देयर आर प्लेथोरा ऑफ जजमेंट्स। अगेन कॉस्ट बेनिफिट देखते हुए यू हैव टू लिटिगेट। मिलेगा रिव्यू, बहुत सारे केसेस हैं।
जीएसटी और पार्टी नहीं लगाया,
पार्टी ने लगाया,
पार्टी नहीं लगाया जीएसटी, उसमें गलती से उसको टिक कर दिया सप्लाई एड्रेस कीमत चार्ज, करेक्ट, और 3 में उसको टाइमली पे कर दिया,
उसने पे कर दिया।
उसने पे भी कर दिया, तो अब मेरे पे लायबिलिटी वो
आरसीएम की लायबिलिटी आ गई है। सर मैं कहूंगा कि ये केस में आप
सर्कुलर को एक रखते हुए कि ये उसमें नहीं स्पेसिफिक,
मेरे ख्याल से मिल जाएगा। आई थिंक फोर्थ सिनेरियो में शायद ये कवर हो।
सिनेरियो में है
नहीं है, बट फोर्थ सिनेरियो को आप लिंक कर सकते हैं,
ऐसा फोर्स सिनेरियो अगर जो सप्लाई क्या है, अगर वो सप्लाई
एग्जैक्टली, अगर वो सप्लाई है ही नहीं तो इट इज अ मेयर रॉन्ग डिस्क्लोजर बाय हिम।
कंडीशनल लायबिलिटी कैसे होती है?
करेक्ट, एग्जैक्टली। मैंने माल खरीदा, उसमें टिक कर दिया तो कैसे हो जाएगा?
बोलते जाने उससे बात कीजिए, मेरे को दिख रहा है आपको
सर रिवर्स मैंने क्या बोला ना, अच्छा सर, one more point I would request all of you for the next 6 days. Some of the points emotionally we will feel कि ये ऑफिसर गलत कर रहा है, हाँ गलत कर रहा है, वो कानूनी रूप से आपको बोल रहा है आप उससे लेकर आइए करिए, हमको नहीं पता आप पूरा दीजिए, वो सेपरेट मैटर है। लॉ क्या है अपन उस पर फोकस करेंगे नेक्स्ट 6 डेज कि क्या मेरा फाइटिंग ग्राउंड है कि नहीं। अगर है तो आप कॉस्ट बेनिफिट करिए। सर पहले ये तो देखिए लड़के जीतेंगे क्या, किस लेवल पे जाके जीतेंगे। So coming back to your point, sir, I have a question to the forum online as well. I have a case of credit note coming in my 2A, which is not my entry. Okay, credit note coming in my 2A, which is not my credit note. सामने वाले ने भूल से डाला है या जानबूझ के जो भी है, because of which my net claim 2A is getting less and my claim in 3B is more. Logical? For this, can I use this 183 circular? 3B versus 2A कंपेयर किया, 2A कम है 3B ज्यादा है, so when they are comparing 2A is net of credit notes, 3B is also net of my reversals. He said 2A is less. We identified that it is less because one particular party, I'm just taking simple examples, one party has uploaded a credit note which is not actually a credit note. If I see my ledger, only purchases are from him, I have paid him the full amount, कुछ भी नहीं है, but उसने गलती से क्रेडिट नोट चढ़ा दिया जिसके कारण मेरा 2A कम हो गया। What are the normal cases? जब वो मेरे नाम से R1 में नहीं डाला तो मेरा 2A कम हो जाता है, बट अगर गलती से R1 में क्रेडिट नोट लिख दिया मेरे नाम से तो भी तो कम हो जाता है। तो in that case, can I take the benefit of this circular? Is the question. समझे? Circular 4 scenario where 3B is your claim in 3B is more than 2A और 4 सिनेरियो दिया हुआ है कि सामने वाले ने ये गलती कर दी होगी बट 3B में टैक्स पे किया होगा। कैन आई डू दैट? मान लेते एक सिंपल एग्जांपल है, उसको किसी दूसरे पार्टी का क्रेडिट नोट चढ़ाना था, भूल से मेरे नाम पे चढ़ा दिया। अंकित सर आपका क्या व्यू है सर?
सर्कुलर नहीं है प्लस दिस इज द रिकंसिलिएशन इशू। You can say decide the reconciliation and very good 1 year का टाइम है रिकंसिलिएशन कर सकते हैं।
सर मैं बोल रहा हूँ 17-18 सब टाइम खत्म, अब कुछ नहीं हो सकता 17-18।
रिकंसिलिएशन से प्रूफ करना पड़ेगा।
Proof, so it is a matter of adjudication. Can it be concluded in ASMT? If the officer wants.
If the officer as was the
So,
question.
correct. So law allows this adjudication in ASMT 10 also, because he gives, the law provides you to give an explanation why it should not be demanded from me based on law and based on facts. यू विल गेट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी। सर 30 दिन में सब कैसे होगा, मैं आज एक चिट्ठी देता हूँ फिर वो 5 दिन बाद बोला था सर 30 दिन तो ऐसे खत्म हो जाएगा। देयर इज अ प्रोविजन फॉर एक्सटेंशन ऑफ टाइम टिल द टाइम यू आर कंप्लाइंग विद हिम। सर मेरे को थोड़ा हड़बड़ी करना पड़ेगा, नेक्स्ट स्पीकर का टाइम हो गया, मेरा टाइम भी खत्म हो रहा है।
सर उसमें एक चीज और है, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई को लेके भी बहुत सारे
इनपुट के लिए हाँ
आपको
ओके
सही दिया है।
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग आई टेल यू। मैंने दिल्ली से एक माल खरीदा, उसको प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई बंगाल दिखाना था और आईजीएसटी चार्ज करना था। उसने सिंपल सिचुएशन मेरे को बिल जो भेजा उसमें आईजीएसटी चार्ज है, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई वेस्ट बंगाल है, मेरे पास बिल आया। उसने 2A में मतलब अपने R1 में एंट्री भी करेक्टली रिपोर्ट किया, बट प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई वेस्ट बंगाल की जगह झारखंड लिख दिया। अब मेरा ऑफिसर मेरे को बोलता है कि उसने प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई झारखंड लिखा तो उसका टैक्स झारखंड सरकार को मिल गया, मंदा दीदी को तो मिला नहीं, हम कैसे दे तुमको क्रेडिट। तो इसके सोल्यूशन में आई टेल यू वन थिंग, आई थिंक इट वाज इन institute when we had this session with Khalid sir. So he briefly said, I do not know how much is that. He said you pay the tax and file a refund for that Jharkhand thing. In West Bengal, you will get the refund. I have not explored it as of yet, but this is what is from the horse's mouth. आप अपने ही jurisdictional officer को उस झारखंड IGST का refund फाइल करिए। This is said from a platform. I am still looking कि इसकी legal validity कैसे निकल जाएगी। जो पैसा झारखंड को मिला उसका रिफंड देने को तैयार है पर आईटीसी देने को तैयार नहीं।
Question is, I penalize on that. POS is something, there are cases wherein POS has been incorrectly filed, but tax has been paid correctly. So in my GST one, I have shown it as Uttar Pradesh to Kolkata, और हम उत्तर प्रदेश to उत्तर प्रदेश दिखा दिया। Second में I paid IGST. So my payment was never in dispute.
This question is I have paid IGST, but place of supply from Delhi instead of Calcutta I have given Jharkhand. So the money in their settlement of accounts has gone to Jharkhand government.
Based on GST1,
based on GST से जाता है सर।
सर ये PSU के केस में हम ये कोई गलती से नहीं, इंटेंशनली हो रहा है। PSU मैं अभी केस डील कर रहा हूँ, PSU ने माल भेजा झारखंड से।
थोड़ा सा सर ऑनलाइन वाले सीन नहीं पाएंगे सर,
प्रैक्टिकली बता रहा हूँ। PSU है सप्लायर, उसने माल भेजा झारखंड, माल का डिलीवरी किया झारखंड से, मैं वेस्ट बंगाल में हूँ और सपोज कीजिए वो बेंगलोर में, तो वो क्या कर दे रहे हैं, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई झारखंड मेंशन कर रहे हैं, IGST चार्ज कर रहे हैं और मेरे प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई की वजह से
आपके GST पे बिल कर रहे हैं as a process they are doing. So sir, as of now, if you ask my view, you need not do this pay tax and file a refund. You have to litigate like what Ankit has said, that this is a case where the error is on his part. I should not be penalized. बहुत सारे उसके judgments भी हैं. And if there is a settlement of account between the government, you assess, record it on fact, and then you do your internal settlement. मेरे को क्यों पूछ रहे हो?
पर सर रिफंड कहाँ पे फाइल करना होगा?
आपने मैं jurisdictional officer को बोल के कि वहाँ का है. मैं बोला कि I am still not explored, but ये option खालिद सर है हमारे कमिश्नर साहब स्टेट के, उन्होंने बताया था, तो एक्सप्लोर करेंगे, बट देखना पड़ेगा, छोटा अमाउंट बता। हाँ, क्विकली नॉन फाइलर्स का असेसमेंट है विच इज बेस्ट जजमेंट, और एक हो गया अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन। अगर आप रजिस्ट्रेशन लेने के बाद कैंसिल भी कर लेते हो, आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल हो गया, कैन दे स्टिल डिमांड? यस, आप कैंसिल होने के बाद भी अगर टैक्सेबल बिजनेस करो तो दिस इज कॉल्ड बेस्ट जजमेंट। बेस्ट जजमेंट कुछ भी बेसिस पे हो सकता है क्या? कैन इट बी एनी बेसिस? नो, हिज जजमेंट नीड्स टू बी रीजन्ड। So there was a case, I'm not sure if it is here. There was a case where R1 was filed and 3B was not filed. So best judgment happened and he demanded, he assessed the tax at 150% of R1. So he said when you had a reasonable basis that R1 में इतना है, तो how can you inflate the demand? So it has to be reasoned with application of mind. Audit में बहुत जल्दी आता हूँ. Audit is general audit 65 एंड स्पेशल ऑडिट। जब ऑफिसर को आपका बुक समझ में नहीं आएगा तो आपका केस को तो एक सीए एम्पैनल विद द ऑफिसर बोलेगा कि इससे चेक करवा के मेरे पास लाओ। बट जनरल ऑडिट व्हाट हैपेंस, योर फाइल इज सिलेक्टेड, हु सिलेक्ट्स? अच्छा, वन वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, Each of these sections that we have done 59, 60, 63, there is a word called proper officer used. हर चीज में. And please refer to the circular number 3 of 2017. एक लंबा सा लिस्ट आया था, ऐसा मैंने कुछ बनाया भी है कि किस सेक्शन में कौन प्रॉपर ऑफिसर है. For one particular section there can be more than one proper officer for different types of tasks. कि ये काम करने के लिए ये प्रॉपर ऑफिसर है, ये काम करने के लिए प्रॉपर ऑफिसर है. तो जो लाइक व्हाट अंकित सेड, ज्यूरिसडिक्शन जब हम चेक करेंगे, हम अथॉरिटी भी चेक करेंगे कि आप क्या ये काम करने के लिए प्रॉपर ऑफिसर हो कि नहीं. If the proper officer for that particular task is ACDC and letter or notice has been received from superintendent, you at the first instance check कि अगर आपका ACDC का पावर को सुपरिटेंडेंट को करने का दिया गया तो कमिश्नर का ऑर्डर होना चाहिए. ऑर्डर दिखाइए, नहीं तो आपका इशुएंस ऑफ नोटिस बाय सुपरिटेंडेंट इटसेल्फ इज नॉट वैलिड. सर ये सब पॉइंट्स पे भी एडजुडिकेशन करना चालू करिए.
देखिए सर, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है, ये टेक्निकल पॉइंट एडजुडिकेशन लेवल पे करना चाहिए कि लिटिगेशन लेवल पे करना?
सर बताऊंगा, 2 मिनट देंगे, थोड़ा 2 मिनट देंगे. सेक्शन 160 इसको कवर करता है. देखिए, कमिश्नर ऑथोराइज करेगा एक जनरल ऑडिटर्स ऑर्डर से कि किस किस का फाइल स्क्रूटनी में आएगा. फिर एसीडीसी आपको इनिशिएशन ऑफ ऑडिट का एडीटी 1 फॉर्म इशू करेगा. उसके नीचे का रैंक का ऑफिसर आपको एडीटी 1 इशू नहीं कर सकता. अगर कर रहा है तो आप उससे पहले अथॉरिटी लीजिए कि आपको अथॉरिटी किस ऑर्डर से मिला है ये सेक्शन में लेटर इशू करने का. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एज पर द लॉ इन माय ऑडिट, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, वेदर ही विल कम टू माय प्रीमाइसेस और ही विल कॉल. दोनों ऑप्शन है. आजकल आलसी हो गए, बोलते आप लेके आओ, लास्ट डे हम एक दिन जाएंगे. व्हाट कैन ही आस्क ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ ऑडिट? लॉ सेज डॉक्यूमेंट्स ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ व्हिच बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट आर मेड. इस क्लॉज में अगर आपका केस कोई भी डॉक्यूमेंट पढ़ रहा है तो ही कैन आस्क. When he asks a list of information, itna lamba, you give all this information, the audit commences, and within 3 months he has to conclude. आप देखोगे प्रेशर आ रहा है ऑडिट वाले से, जल्दी दीजिए, ऑडिट आपका इनिशिएट हो गया, हमको 3 महीने में क्लोज करना है. नहीं देंगे तो हम विद द अवेलेबल इंफॉर्मेशन बेस्ड जजमेंट करके आपका डिमांड बना देंगे. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, लाइक ASMT, what is the final outcome if it is favorable comes to me in the form of ASMT 12. In case of audit, it initiates with ADT 1. Whatever is his findings, उनके डिस्कशन के बाद comes to me in ADT 2. अगर आपके ऑडिट में ऑब्जेक्शंस कुछ रेज हुए, आपने रिस्पॉन्स फाइल किया, उसके बाद वो बोला हाँ एक्सेप्टेड, ड्रॉप, बोले सर ADT 2. नॉर्मल असेसमेंट में अगर वो बोलेगा कि ड्रॉप, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट स्क्रूटनी और अदर ऑडिट केस, तो वो शो कॉज देगा तो ही आपको नोटिस दे सकता है, नहीं तो नहीं दे सकता. बट ASMT में और ऑडिट में, इन बोथ दीज सिचुएशंस you can get a closure or whatever is the final thing. Okay, so let us say your matter, whatever you have replied to that audit objection is not accepted, so then it goes for show cause, and ADT 1 initiate कौन करेगा? ACDC. but show cause issue करने का proper officer superintendent. All these are also applicable with the monetary limit. कितना लाख तक का अमाउंट है, 20 लाख तक का तो सुपर करेगा, 20 लाख से 1 करोड़ है तो ACDC करेगा. Sorry. Okay. Special audit, not discussing much. Special points. This is one point. Parallel proceedings, can it be done? Doctrine of committee talks about same period, same matter, 2 proceedings cannot be there. Same period, different matters, 2 parallel proceedings may be there.
If it is same director, if it is same director or different director.
तो आपका सर एक DGGI चल रहा है और एक ASMT में चल रहा है, डिफरेंट मैटर्स पे हो रहा है तो हो सकता है.
सेंट्रल,
हाँ सेंटर स्टेट भी कर सकता है. DGGI स्टेट का 2 ऑफिसर, एक ASMT कर रहा है और एक कुछ स्पेसिफिक
वो सब 3 ऑफिसर.
अच्छा, you lead representative. So in this case, DGGI, I think DGGI was there, no?
In that, in activate of audit, anti-evasion,
Anti-evasion
and
and jurisdiction.
jurisdiction office.
तीनों थे. तो आई थिंक विच वाज इनिशिएटेड फर्स्ट दैट प्रिवेंट, बाकी सबको रुकना पड़ा।
ऑडिट कंक्लूड होने के बाद बाकी कर सकते हैं।
नहीं सर, एक
सेम मैटर पे
अब ऑडिट का तो कोई स्पेसिफिक मैटर नहीं होता है, ऑडिट तो कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव होता है, आप उसमें मैटर कैसे बोलोगे?
that is what that judgment the court held कि audit का जो definition है under the law is very wide. It encompasses everything. So if audit has been done, you have given everything. Now then it's a department officer's fault. He is not been able to look at everything. But you have provided a balance sheet, ITR, TXT, everything. That was the case. That is why we did the court.
Audit, I'll term give एक legal term है. Here the other side before deciding natural justice, अपन सब जानते हैं, इसकी कुछ exceptions भी है जहां पे आपको पोस्ट डिसीजनल हियरिंग भी दे सकते हैं। तो आपका केस पोस्ट डिसीजनल हियरिंग के एक्सेप्शन में फॉल करता है तो आप नेचुरल जस्टिस की दुहाई नहीं दे सकते, अदरवाइज इट्स ऑल ओके, आप दे सकते हो। बेस्ट जजमेंट हम लोग देख लिए हैं। सर आपका एक क्वेश्चन था, हम अभी नहीं बताया ऑफिसर को, बाद में बताया सर, एक मिनट। सो सेक्शन 160 says assessment proceeding shall not be invalid due to any mistake, defect, omission if they are in substance conformity with the intent of the law. Service of notice, order or communication cannot be called in question if they have been acted upon by the noticee or at any subsequent level if the ground was not raised in the first remedy itself. आपको बोले इनकम टैक्स में भी है ना 292 भी हम ऐसे कुछ था कि आपने अगर एक्सेप्ट कर लिया तो बाद में नहीं बोल सकते इस चीज का, तो आप पहले रिस्पॉन्स में इसको हाईलाइट करके छोड़ दो कि वेदर वो सुने नहीं सुने, आप हायर ग्राउंड में बोल सकते हो कि मेरा आज भी मैं बोल रहा हूँ इसकी शो कॉज की जुरिसडिक्शन इनवैलिड है। So now it is all the more important that from the first stage itself you bring out this section 160 का assessment, jurisdiction check, authority check, timeline check, ये सारे points को आपको डालना है। It is more imperative now.
सर ये जो कुछ जजमेंट आए हैं जहाँ पे ये बोला है कि ड्यू प्रोसेस फॉलो नहीं किया, हाईकोर्ट वगैरह ने रिक्वेस्ट किए हैं सो कोर्स, तो क्या उस केस में इनिशियल लेवल में ऑब्जेक्शन किए गए थे?
वो अगर उसके सबमिशंस तो मुझे नहीं पता, बट यस अगर फॉर एग्जांपल नहीं भी की हुई थी और ऑफिसर के डीआर ने 160 को रेफर नहीं किया तो मैटर नहीं उठा होगा। सर इस पॉइंट से मैं अपना कंक्लूड करता हूं, लेट मधुकर सर कम, वी विल हैव Q&A सेशन, मैं यहीं पे बैठा हूं, मैं कहीं नहीं जा रहा हूं। थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग अ पेशेंट लिसनिंग, थैंक यू एवरीवन। ओके अभी हो गया।
So a very nice and interesting deliberation by CA Gagan Kedia. He took us through the relevant provisions and explained us the integrities also. Now we have our second learned speaker, CA Madhukar sir from Bangalore. He has joined us virtually. Sir, we welcome you to this platform, DTPA. You have been a regular speaker at our platform, and of course, Kolkata loves you from your ICA when you were the member in the committee, and we have been blessed to see this all the GST related work being undertaken under your guidance. So we'll just introduce Madhukar sir briefly. See, Madhukar Hiregange has a post qualification experience of 36 years. He is the founder partner of HNA and Company LLP, having several offices across India specialized in indirect taxes, FTP. He has pioneered the concept of indirect tax review audits, now GST review audit, as an invaluable compliance and benefit-oriented service. He has jointly authored 32 plus books in IDT, including 11 in GST from 1997 till date. And he has fostered more than 400 plus leading professionals in industry and practice to take up ethical practice in IDT. He has been involved in various efforts to make the indirect tax laws in India simple, certain and fair, and creating an awareness of the potential knowledge of indirect taxes in India. He is also the knowledge partner to Hiregange Academy, which is an employability and knowledge initiative which is serving 4,500 per year to enhance their capability mainly in IDT and Excel skills. Looking to make 1 lakh commerce graduates employable for better employed in the next 5 years. This is what Sir is taking care of. And we all know that he is always believed in value-based practices, as of course in life also. And it's a pleasure for us that we will hear Madhukar sir today after some span of time in Kolkata. So we welcome you once again, and a huge round of applause for Madhukar. Sir, over to you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Thank you very much. I think Gagan has been going like an express train. I've been listening to him in his anxiety to leave some time for me, but the topic is quite big. So I presume that the PPT will be managed by Gagan. So I thought that first thing which is very important when we look at this particular area of GST, we have to remember that this is not a a law which is has no law. There are a lot of procedures and there is a legal process, and therefore it's very, very important that we have to understand that the quasi-judicial proceedings require the application of mind at all levels. And we have got a couple of cases which you can refer to a bit later. I will go to the aspects which many of us do not keep as a base. I always say whether it is practice, general practice, how to grow a practice, how to practice in the area of audit, taxation, including, of course, GST. Foundation is very good, very, very important. If your foundation is great, then many of the excesses which we see the officers doing, you will come to know, okay, he's doing something either because he does not know, or he's doing something because he does not want to know. But how will you know what is your right? I think specific smaller points Gagan has told us. He has also talked about various circulars, how they can be used by us, even though we can challenge it at the same time. So I would like to start with the Constitution. Even the first book of GST which came in India, written by anybody, came from the Indirect Tax Committee in 2017, within a month of the uploading of the law in the public eye. We also got it along with everybody. We didn't get it early from the department, though they wanted it in a hurry. There also we have spent the first 2 chapters on understanding the base of the law, the foundation. Without foundation, all these structures, they can keep changing, but foundation will never change. This is something we have to remember all the time. Now they made a khichdi. They took the law of VAT, they took the law of customs, they took central excise, service tax, and then some little of contract act, put it all together into GST. They said this is a wonderful, unique khichdi. All of us understood that this khichdi is pretty bitter. And the attitude of the department, especially the State Department, did not change. And therefore, there is a requirement for all of us to know sometime where something is specifically wrong. You should know it's wrong, but we'll still fight as per the law, as per the procedures set out. We will still fight it, no doubt about it. First is that India is a federal country. In GST, the center has become a bigger brother. I think there were only 2 or 3 states which really questioned this. One was West Bengal itself, and one was Tamil Nadu. Other than that, all other people who fought for it, like Karnataka, Maharashtra and all, they were not really serious about the fact that they are going to lose their independence, which I think these 2 states were trying to see. Where is this important for us? So Article 354 talks about what is it that is taxable by the state, what is it that is taxable by the center. Taxing the land portion is something which is not acceptable at all. Whatever way they do it, they say we'll do it this way, that way. Finally, Supreme Court is going to take a stand on that. Hopefully, it is going to take a valid stand. You have all these type of, deductions which they have come up with, 1/3 land deduction. How is it possible in Calcutta? Now, the very place where you are sitting, the land cost as a part of the apartment cost will be 70%. And they are saying, oh, no, 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 you take only 33%. Obviously, this is against reason when the price of the land is very clear. So they are straying into the jurisdiction of the state. This is something you should remember in all real estate transactions, especially joint development, etc. Even the development rights. Development right is for what? Again, it's for land and something accruing from land. And therefore, all this development line right story may also finally, like the Calcutta Club, which you successfully took to the Supreme Court and it was said to be illegal, this also may happen the same way. Another issue which just keeps coming up for us is this GST Council. Initially, the GST Council worked very well. I myself have praised it, but it was only time before the, the tail of the dog got curled again. Now it is only a rubber stamp. Most of the decisions of the CBIC are being put forward by it. I also think that there is a legal section in the government, and that also has become a rubber stamp. So I don't know where democracy is going as far as the checks and balances are concerned. But one thing is sure, GST Council, whatever it says, is not a law. It is only a recommendation. Only if it is passed by the parliament, then it becomes law. It is another fact that the Parliament of India has been terribly irresponsible, and many of these matters which come up to the parliament are not even discussed. They are in the notes and they get passed by default. I think why I'm speaking to you is you all are people from Calcutta are known for making changes in the law. The next point, which is very important, is that the Act, rules, so notifications, circulars, all of them have to comply with the Constitution of India. And there are about 10 articles which are important for us, not more than that. So all you have to do is know them well, so that anything which is not in line can be challenged in a writ as not valid in law. Sometimes some of these could be useful to us, like Gagan said about circulars. Then we use the circular to our benefit. There are a lot of Supreme Court judgments which say beneficial circulars cannot be used by the department, saying that circulars are not valid in law. Next is very, very important, especially for the state officers who got used to some sort of official dacoity. Huge corruption, 98%, 95% corruption across India. Anyway, GST came to remove that corruption also, and I think it has done that to great extent. But this violation of principles of natural justice is something which keeps on coming. And therefore, without a request, without an opportunity, no decision can be made, even if you don't ask for a PH. Next very important point is we need to know the fundamental rights, mainly Article 14. And one of the cases which is sitting before the Supreme Court on ITC, on cement, steel, construction service in Safari, which came from Orissa, again nearby to you, is awaiting decision. Dates after dates are being given and they are just being postponed. I think 2 years has gone after the date started. Anyway, this is a point. And why they are not passing it is because they can't get past that equality. If a builder can take credit, why can't a person who lets out that building? Both of them are taxpayers. So that is the point which is going to be very difficult for the Supreme Court to overcome, just like mutuality in the Calcutta Club case. Article 19 is, there are lots of subsections. You should see each of them fully. The actions like cancellation of registration, right to do business, many of y'all also went to the High Court of Calcutta and got relief. So this is possible at any point of time. So be very clear of each of the articles of the Constitution, especially Article 19, 14, 21. 21 is, even we spent a lot of time, Gagan spent a lot of time on provisional assessment. So you have coercive action. You have time for appeal, or you have applied to the, you are appealing to the tribunal which has not been set up, and department wants to take coercive action. Demand without notice. Many of the officers still do it. After 6 years, they're still doing it. That means they're neither been educated or anything. Not only should you ask for it to be quashed, you should also ask for the commissioner to be, penalized. Not that officer, commissioner, because they are not teaching them. They have teaching classes where nobody attends. So on the paper, all got educated, but there's nothing. Why don't they have an exam? These are things which you should bring up in the RACs everywhere. Ex parte order, just one day before they'll send one notice which will come to you day after. Today the order has been passed. Arrest without reason. These all come under the article for protection of life and liberty under 21. Remember, I am only telling you, I am only showing you a trailer here because we do not have that much time as I see. Can you go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
No, I think you missed it. Yeah, correct. Then there is another issue which keeps going. This royalty issue is now again before Supreme Court. There's a road tax. We have to be very clear that there is no tax on tax. GST is not a tax on tax. So it can be a tax on a fee. So the difference between this is very important. Again, I think you can go back to your guidance which we had written. Background material of GST is available. I don't know up to when it has been updated, but it's available as a free download even today. I remember I had to fight for giving it as a free download because the whole, writers lobby in India, they were against us giving it. Once we gave this, no other book had a chance at all. One more very important aspect is that we are so many states, rightly, wrongly, some states, high courts have given orders, assuming that they are right, if they are not contested. What I would like to say is that once one court in India has some decision which is favoring you or your client, and there is no other contrary case, then that case is the law of the land. Of course, if they have contrary cases, then all these cases get pushed to Supreme Court, and all these disputes also go into the call book. Provisional assessment, I think Gagan already talked about this. Unless there is a valid reason and tangible material, we can't go further. You can't order a provisional assessment just like that. The next thing where you have a writ remedy is that I see very, very often that incorrect officers, that means officers without jurisdiction, issue the notice. So every time you get a notice, whatever it is, please verify. Maybe DTPA can even make a list, maybe of around 20 common notices, and against that, put which officer is authorized. Not only the notices, it can be many other things also, even visits, the seizure orders, etc. And this particular single sheet or maybe 2 sheets at most can become a very good guide, so that where there is no jurisdiction, you don't have to go and keep on supplying information to that person and then arming the department, as I say. They already have the gun, you are giving them the bullets. So you can as well keep the bullets away and say that, I don't know, as per the law, you are not the jurisdictional officer, and therefore put it in their court very politely and say that, please let it be issued by a jurisdictional officer. We would be very happy to cooperate. You also have this, advance ruling, adverse ruling as it is called commonly nowadays. These are only harakiri exercises. If I go to advance ruling, I will get something which is not in my favor. And if it is in my favor, it will certainly go further and be decided against me. 99% whatever I am saying is true. So what happens when you unnecessarily go for advance ruling? Of course, many of us also use advance ruling. When we are dealing with government, where you have an order from the government, then maybe government wants some legal document to pay a higher rate. Then you can go to an advance ruling authority, happily they'll give you the highest rate, and then you can give it to the government and bill them and recover that money. Illegal detention of goods. You cannot keep goods away, because once you detain the goods, you're taking away the right to do business itself. You stop a truck, similarly it is there. And of course, arrest of course has reduced now, but I think that illegal arrest, very clearly, you can't arrest the intermediary or the advisor, unless of course, everything is being done by the advisor himself or his partner. He is hand in glove with the, the criminal fellow who is doing whatever fake bill, etc. Even if transitional credit is missed due to a clerical error or portal issues, writ is the only remedy available now. You can't go back to the officer. You can make an attempt and then say, if you don't allow me, I am going to the writ remedy. You can go at any time and they will ask them to open the portal for you. Again, the problem is when the stakes are low, what happens? When the stakes are low, there's a very serious problem, because it is not worth going to the court. That is a defect which I have not seen, which is possible to remedy. Maybe you can confuse the officer. Maybe you can see whether it can be put in abeyance for some time till some higher authority decides it. Even the recovery during investigation and audit is illegal. 2 o'clock in the night, they tell you that if you don't do this, tomorrow we are coming with arrest warrant. These type of things are not allowed in India. Next day you should go to the court, and I'm sure you'll get the stay on their movement at all. Next, please. Yeah, very, very important. In fact, I don't know if you are aware, it used to be part of my introduction 20 years back, that we were the first people to start indirect tax audit in India. It was not the Big Four or anybody else. In 1990, we did a audit of central excise audit of one of the TTK group companies in Bangalore. And after that, of course, after about 4 years, even the Big Four started. And then Bombay took over in a very big way. They made it part of their value-added service, and they did very well in central excise, service tax, and also in GST. They are doing very well. Bombay Chartered Accountants. So one of the points which is there now is that even now that we don't have the statutory power, the management side of GST, where maximum amount of value can be given, that means we give money to the client, is coming through audits, audit review. Many of you might have seen books written by us as well as taxmen. These are the two best books. We also wrote a book when we were in GST, when I was chairman of the committee on GST audit, how to do it. Of course, that book might be a bit redundant now, unless it is updated. It is not going to be very useful, but some clue you can get. Even today, even those people who don't go for audit, that is clients who don't go for audit, when they get the audit notice, they get a bit scared, and they have reason to be scared actually. So one of the things which I thought we should discuss today is how we can provide value here. Remember, when you give value here, you also get huge fees. For example, for us in the older locations, 70% of our work is related to audits, GST audit only today. Newer locations, it is less of audit because acceptance is not there. But chartered accountants have to differentiate themselves from advocates. Otherwise, they'll continue to get a large pie of the dispute resolution market. But if you do audit, they can't do it. So you will be the automatic choice, and you actually, in my understanding, you are far, far better than a lawyer because of knowing businesses much better and also knowing accounting much better. So as a professional, you are 90% complete. They are only 30% complete as far as disputes resolution as soon as possible is concerned. Of course, in earning, they may be much higher than us because of their practice of charging percentage, etc., which is not being regulated. So what should we do? We should cooperate with the audit team and provide all the information. When I say we, I'm assuming that you are part of the management team, which is going to face the auditors, which we do also. Only thing, don't become a witness, don't give any statement. Otherwise, you will be barred from fighting that case. Always all information which is given should be given under acknowledgement. That means any paper asked for by the officer has to be noted. In the end of the day, you should send a mail. These are the documents we have shared with you. And these are the questions you asked. These are the answers we have given. If you do it on the first day, third day, they will leave because they cannot keep such documentation on record. Keeping the entire information before they come. And that also, if you can do pre-audit, say the department gives an audit notice today, then the SSC can tell them that we are a little busy now and we have got some challenges. Please come for the audit after 2 months. They may say, okay, we'll come after 1 month. They may say, no, you have to come. We can say there is nobody here to support you because they are elsewhere busy. We also do business and therefore, please come by this time. And at that time, escalate the matter, put a CC to the commissioner. So you will get your time of 2 months. And in that 2 months, let the chartered accountant or the competent person who can do pre-audit, go and do a pre-audit. Pre-audit need not be very, very detailed. It can be done in a perfunctory manner with a shortened review list. You've got books which give you all this. There's a book on departmental audit also we have written. Of course, it is for the officers, but it can give you a lot of vital clues as to how to defend. What happens if we do this? It reduces the surprise demand or shock demand. And maybe it can be done much before these people come so that the amount is not too big. And it also will avoid the longer period demands. Once you have done this, they cannot give a longer period demand. Say I have done a pre-audit in the month of year of 2019, then they cannot say that you are suppressing information. Documentation also for posterity is very important. Today you have a very high employee turnover. Suddenly files are not available. Recently I got one request from the company which is gone with the Big Four 20 years back, and the stake was around 50 crores of refund. And the files were handed over to them 11 years back by our office. We have taken an acknowledgement. Unfortunately, the Big Four has lost the file. And that 50 crores mostly is gone for that person also. Very, very important documentation. Even old files you might have to keep in your godown. I think in income tax also you used to do this a bit beyond the statutory period, especially when demands are there or tax disputes are there. When you have these files, it's also very, very important that it can be handed over easily, even if the person abruptly leaves, and helps reduce harassment by the department. All this harassment by the department when the audit takes place. Otherwise, some of these audits are put up for tender, open tender it is. And I heard that people who can't afford more than 6 figures, they will automatically go to the thing. Only the big bandicoots will come and get it. And when they come only, they know we are going to get, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs and all. Anyway, this is a necessary evil which has carried forward from the old excise days. But remember, this big fees is only from people who have a lot of skeletons, who have a lot of other problems also, who, quid pro quo, they cheat so much that 10 lakhs is nothing. One important aspect is that many times chartered accountants ask me, can we be authorized representatives to handle the audit and represent the taxpayer? Please do handle the audit separate from the person who represents the taxpayer. So it can be a non-qualified person or a qualified person who doesn't represent your firm, who helps the audit part of it, handling the officers, giving proper replies only when needed, give complete replies, keep everything on record, etc. And as I said, the type of replies given during audit will make your foundation strong, that no case will be against you at all. Actually, it can be done that way. There will be not even a single case which will go against you. Can you take the next one, please? Yeah. I think many of these you would know already, but these are important things which you should know. Sir, the service tax audit has been, since it was the rule itself is not saved. Service tax audit is not possible from 2018 itself. And in case they see something which is wrong, they need to tell in the audit if they find something which is wrong, nothing to do with service tax audit, today's GST audit also, they have to refer it to the DGGI. Audit people have to refer it to DGGI if they think there is an evasion. There is no possibility of them giving you a notice. Whenever there are interpretational issues, which are numerous, in fact, today we got an order on ocean freight. In spite of telling them from day one, unnecessarily they forced the SSC to go up to Commissioner Appeals, but at least that this is in Coimbatore, where we presently don't have an office. Our Chennai office managed it, and we got a favorable order for that. So the order was, some 50-60 lakhs, and some 50,000 was ITC interest or something on early availment of ITC. So this is the state of affairs. Unnecessary, it goes up in litigation. What we have to do, what we can do, and what I think is our bounden duty to do as chartered accountants is give relief as soon as possible. This is something which is not a common phenomenon with advocates. Advocates would like to drag the matter till the Supreme Court. We would like to close the matter, and many of our matters, like the one I just mentioned, get closed at Commissioner Appeals much earlier and at a fraction of the cost of the other alternative of taking people to court. Of course, one more point which is very important, which we realized about 5-6 years back, is we started taking lawyers in our office about 7-8 years back. And now many of them are experienced, they understand GST, and we are planning to have a legal firm. We started a legal firm with, our chartered accountants giving up their COP and joining the bar. Very, very important, because the future of fees in GST is in litigation. You go to a lawyer, he'll give you only small part. Whatever work you do, paperwork you do, he'll pay you for the paperwork, but the lion's share of the fees will go into his pocket. So many of you who are already have done law, are doing law, you can have that option. Say you have an office, 3 partners are there doing GST, or 2 partners, one of you should certainly go to the law, join the bar council, so that you can start going to the court. In 5 years' time, you will find you're far better than the advocates whom you used to take to argue your case. Very, very important. In fact, that's what we did. I started my practice in 1988 officially, that is the name came then. And in 1990, I was going to the tribunal and pretty successful. After that, of course, my fighting nature made me lose a few cases which should not have been lost. So I withdrew from the tribunal and concentrated on audits in those days. Of course, later partners joined and we are well into audit now. I mean, litigation now. Maybe about 30-40% of our income comes from litigation today. I think it will become 90% in another 5 years. Article 366, again, very important, where these people, they have their common things, development right, plotted development. I told you about that. Another article also is there on the difference between state and center. Corporate guarantees, for example. These are all things which do not come under the definition of service. Very clearly, it's not very, very definite, but in my view, it is. Investigations cannot be done during the audit. If DGGI comes, you should tell or let the audit get over. Once they give the report, please come for the investigation. This is what you can say. Next, if there is dealing with the auditors, again, this is a practical side which is so important. I am going to give you my view. I am not forcing anybody to take my view, but this is what I advise my clients also. 70% of my clients agree to these conditions which I put. To 30 of them say, sir, I don't want to take panga. Department say panga nahi lene ka. Okay, it's all right, it's their choice. But it is my bounden duty to tell you that it is working and working very well. So the first thing is no pickup, no arrangement of vehicle and all for departmental auditors. Let them take the tram in Calcutta or the bus in Calcutta and come. It will also save your time because audits are limited by time. They cannot sit in your place forever. There are time limits put. Even when they intimate you, they are supposed to tell you how many days they are going to come. If they don't, write to them and say, please clarify, when are you going to come? How many days you are going to come? Then he will tell you, I will be coming on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Now he is forced. On those days, you can write back, say, thank you very much. We'll cooperate with you. We have kept officer ready. All the 3 days he'll be available at your disposal. But on 6th, if he wants to continue, you tell him, please go back and give me another notice. I don't mind, but now my officer has already got deployed. 3 days work has not been done and we have to do business. This is the way you should take it up. Independent PC and laptop, don't give him a connection to your, your system, because they have excellent people who are far above our capacity of breaking passwords, etc., which you won't even know what's happening. And everything which is not even known to the CFO will be known to them. So don't link it to the server, internet. Go download the file on a pen drive, take it to their PC or laptop, and then upload it there. Very, very important aspect in this whole exercise is that common courtesies don't forget. Chai, lunch, don't take them to a 5-star hotel. In fact, many of the people, they take them to the furthest 5-star hotel. So if I am in the east side of the city, I'll take them west. But these are the people who have something to hide. And I think don't get into this because that will also increase their expectation. All information given to them has to be put into a file so that you have one file, whether it's a soft file or a hard file. Have a file which contains everything shared with them. Very, very important in case of dispute at a later point of time. Everything on mail, as I already said, no tally backup. They say we don't have time, please give us tally backup. Remember, these tally backups of your client can be sold to his competitor at lakhs of rupees, because the tally backup has everything. It has his sales, who is the customer, what is the rate, everything is known. So it's as good as giving up business secrets. And time limits, please see that you adhere or make them adhere, I would say. Wherever answers have to be given, whatever is available with them, don't bother to give it. In the paper, in the mail itself, you can say information available on the portal. Please avoid asking us. It's available, please go ahead. And you can say we'll check and revert. Wherever you need to, you're not sure what they are asking, why they are asking. Why they are asking, you can always ask them, they may not reply. So you can say we'll check and revert only with consultants. Okay, you should revert with specific points. Don't prepare anything on their behalf. Some of my expert faculty and also excellent practitioners in India, they always say, why are you working for the department? Let them work. They will make a lot of mistakes. They will not be able to complete what they want to do. They will leave it. Once they can't complete a list, they will leave that point itself. In case you have given explanation earlier, just give copies of the reply. Don't give them the annexures unless they ask again. Why are we doing all this? Why are we making their life difficult? It is because they are not there to help you. Maybe out of 10,000 audit officers, there will be 1 or 2 who will be willing to help you. There may be many who are honest. Maybe 100, 200 are there who are honest. But willing to help? No, because the salary is paid by the department. If I was working in the department also, I would not make it easier for the SSC. Insist on discussion before closing the audit. And in case they don't, put a mail saying that we had asked for a discussion before close, but it appears that you didn't have time. You have left without discussion with us. This is a vital important thing because it comes in the realm of natural justice itself. After closure, seek the report. Sometimes 3-4 months happens, nothing is coming back. Next time somebody comes, he'll again rake up all these matters. So write to them officially and say, please give us the report. Otherwise, we are assuming that there was no issue at all. This has to be confirmed by them. Again, they won't confirm, but you can write one more reminder and forget about it. And that time when you write another reminder, please see that it is going higher up. Reply to audit objections. Many of the lawyers say, wait for the notice. Please don't wait for notice. My experience, many of our chartered accountant friends also say this, because it's obviously, lion's share of the income for them also comes from the note after the notice and not before the notice. But you and me, all of us are professionals. We are here to see that we give service to the client, real service, and close the problems as soon as possible. You will get credibility, you will get respect, which no amount of money can get you. So I would say that is paying us rich dividends now. Huge amount of dividends. We don't have to run after clients. Work comes to the door. Whether it is disputes, investigation, replies, it comes. And also we have been known to bring down the audit objection amount from 100 points, 100% what they have asked, to 2% or 3% or 0. So this is something which is very important. Many people say, why are you giving them information which they will use to make a show cause notice? I am saying you are giving them information to drop 90% of the amount. If 90% of the amount is dropped, then where is the question of pre-deposit? It's pre-deposit only on 10%, not on 100%. So I think unless you want to only earn money, this point can be taken to logical end, and even if you have not assisted the client, ask them to ensure that they get a audit closure report. Is there any other one, Gagan? No, I think we have completed. I have given you some insights to what we have been discussing. I saw in between some of the people said, I have a question, but I thought that it would make sense that we leave 30 minutes for question answer, which can be ensured that every question is answered. Obviously, questions are open to everybody, and including Gagan's issues can again be taken up. Many of the issues which are procedural, Gagan will reply. I will give the insights or confirmation. It is not that I practice, in the court anymore, in the tribunal anymore. 10 years I've been more or less only I have been only a strategic partner. And of course, I still learn every day. Over to the organizers, a big thanks to DTPA.
Thank you, sir.
I think this Yes, correct. Thank you very much. I wonder whether our, super fast train has been able to get some thoughts through. Lokesh?
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Questions, anybody online and offline, if you have, please raise your questions. There's a question in the chat. Somebody has asked, Advocate Krishanu Upadhyay.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. My client received edited 01 for audit. In that case, in ITC, in respect of, output tax in respect of GSTR 1 and 3B are some difference. Just output tax liability as per GSTR 1 is greater than 3B. So I want to pay the difference amount with interest. Then as per section 75(3), then I want to meet the audit. In that case, the auditor can charge me the penalty, can pressurize me to pay the penalty or not.
So my question, if I'm understanding that during the audit, the objection raised is that your R1 is more, you have paid a lesser amount in 3B. So that is your admitted liability you paid, and you admitted and you paid it.
Yeah, I am admitted.
At the time of audit objection itself.
No, audit has not started right now. Only the edited 01 issue.
So edited 01 issuance is starting of audit. They have given you the intimation that your audit we are proposing to start and such date they will give you.
Yeah.
But the officers have not come, you have not given any information. Before that, you have paid yourself.
If I pay the difference amount with interest under 75(3), then the auditor can pressurize me to pay the penalty or not.
Okay. So I got your point. So your question is, you received an audit intimation, audit has not yet started, but you yourself have paid the difference tax along with interest.
Right. Right.
Considering it's a suo motu payment. Now, during the course of audit, can the officer say that this was a deliberate attempt to evade tax, and he will give you a show cause of 74, and he will ask you to pay the penalty also? Is that the question, right?
Right, sir. Right.
Yes. So the point is, if the officer gives you a notice under 74, that is fraud case, willful misstatement, and suppression of facts with an intent to evade tax. Trying to understand when he will initiate this notice, what is going to be his contention? He's going to say that we gave you an 81. After that, you paid that DRC 03. So it is only upon our insistence that we wanted to do an audit of your file that you realize and you paid it. Had we not given you this 81, you would have not paid it. So you had an intention to evade this tax, and he would proceed with 74 prima facie. Now, what was the reason that you did not pay, and why was it that only after receiving 81 you had paid? This is not a case of intention to evade tax. You need to justify it. If you do not have a substantial ground to justify that, okay, this is the reason, then there is no, because see, remember, intention to evade tax, there is a lot of judgments in erstwhile law and current law as well. Then what is an intent to evade tax? What is a fraud case? The mens rea has to be established. Merely because he has given me a notice and after that I have paid without him identifying the points. And even after identification of points, see, we have to understand one thing. If after initiation of department, if anything is paid, if all those cases are a case of fraud cases, then what is the use of 73? Correct? So merely because he has intimated and after that you have paid does not make a case of fraud case and penalty should be paid. No. But again, it depends what was your transaction, whether it was a revenue neutral transaction. All those have to be kept in mind, and accordingly you have to take one.
But sir, in our I practice in district Birbhum. As per my experience, in our audit under State Department at CUD office, auditor always after completion of audit, the difference amount they request to pay under 75.3. They not charge the penalty amount. But
73.5, sir. 73.5, 75.3, 73.5.
75, right? 75. But as per my experience, when I face audit at CGST office at Bolpur, they always conclude the audit and they pressurize to pay that difference amount under 75.
74 मतलब fraud case. Center fraud case करता है, state आपको 40 मतलब non fraud case होता है. See, my point is, let us forget who is issuing that notice. You see whether that case actually falls within the definition of fraud case or not. Whoever, even if it is center, you have a ground, you have to defend. There is a follow-up question on the same point, sir. आप बोल रहे थे, sir.
सर अगर GSTR 1 में कोई लाइबिलिटी डिस्क्लोज है तो ऑलरेडी डिपार्टमेंट को डिफरेंस नोन है, तो क्या ये 74 का केस सेटल हो भी सकता है?
Exactly. तो exactly when the liability is disclosed in R1 but not paid in 3B, it is not a case of suppression of facts.
Right.
Fact तो मैंने already disclose करके रखा है R1 में.
Right. Right.
So you have to see, he can always say कि आपका intent to evade tax है, but आपने information दिया, but आपने tax नहीं दिया.
Okay.
But you have to bring that case down to 73 if show cause is issued in 74. Before issuance of show cause, तो demand को ऐसे भी नहीं कर सकता.
So also turnover which I showed in audit report, income tax audit report, that is also tally with the figure of.
That doesn't make a difference. आपने tax दिया ना, अब वो कहाँ क्या दिख रहा है कि दिख रहा है doesn't make a difference. आपने tax दिया, अब question है whether I have to pay penalty or not. Show moto दिए हैं आप नहीं लेंगे, but sir इसमें को 73.11 73.11 एक provision है non fraud case में भी where they talk about 10% penalty. आप एक बार वो clause explore करिएगा.
तो अगर वो प्रेशराइज करे ऑफिसर,
तो प्रेशराइज वर्ड से नहीं लॉ से होना चाहिए. उसको बोलिए कानून बताइए. आप एक बार 73.11 भी पढ़िएगा, वो आपको 73.11 में भी प्रेशराइज कर सकता है. तो आप ये सोचिए कि फिर हम 73.11 से कैसे बचेंगे, क्योंकि 74 हो गया फ्रॉड. आप बोलिए फ्रॉड केस तो नहीं है, तो 73 में नोटिस दो. तो 73 में नोटिस जब आपको देगा और सबसेक्शन 11 में यूज करके देगा, तो आप ये एसेस करिए, यू एसेस व्हाई 73.11 इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल फॉर दैट केस. वहां पे भी 10% पेनल्टी का बात है.
वहां पे सर एक सर्कुलर है ना, इसमें बोला कि 130 के डिफरेंस.
if they don't accept my point, whether we can go for appeal.
Definitely, if there is an order, you can go for an appeal. Sir, what is your view, Madhukar sir, on this?
Gagan, I think that is why we are talking about fundamentals in audit. First of all, the audit officer cannot issue show cause notice. He can only recommend. He can only give his recommendation. Jurisdictional officers will examine it, and they know that they cannot issue this notice, so you will never get the notice for penalty. I am telling you the fact. He is pressurizing. Then all you have to do is write to the commissioner, that commissioner of your, even if he's a state commissioner, write to him, and write to the higher officer of audit. You will have that. No, when the notice comes, higher officer will be known. Write to him with copy to this fellow. That time only. Write means you don't have to send by registered post. Registered email ID is there. The audit officer's email ID is there. Once he starts threatening, just go 5 minutes. You prepare a small email that audit officers, as far as we know, cannot recover. That's one of the case laws which I had said in the PPT. Please take it from the PPT, take that case law, highlight the portion, send it to them by, mail. So this point can get cut right at the starting itself. One of the participants, Mallikarjun Gupta, has rightly said they cannot collect penalty at all. Right in the beginning, he said. And then the practice of the department issuing notice under 74 is an advantage for you. It's a very big advantage for you. Why you want to let him issue whatever notice he wants to give? You will prove that it is not so. Only the period within limitation, there may be some issue. So why do you bother about it? This pressurizing by department is not a word which is proper. Please depend on written. I think in my PPT, I started by saying everything you put in mail. Whatever he says, put in mail first day. Before he tells you penalty and all, before that, whatever information you give him, whatever papers you have given him, put in the end of the day, make a list saying that these are the documents I have given you as per your request. You'll say, ये सब क्यों भेज रहे हो? नहीं sir, document रहेगा तब आपके लिए भी अच्छा है, मेरे लिए भी अच्छा है. He cannot say don't send it. Your explanation also. What happens is unsent question he will ask. So on the first day itself, that unsent question you put. जो भी वो stupid question पूछता है, वो stupid question भी डालो, उसका answer भी डालो. कौन सा वो mail में? You ask me this is what I have told you. उसके बाद unsent question भी नहीं पूछेगा. इतना आराम होगा audit. You think it is not possible the moment you put documentation and mark a higher officer. Let me tell you, all these officers, they become शेर से चूहे हो जाते हैं. Document करो, चूहा हो जाएगा. आप देखो.
Even they say, okay, leave that better. We will visit your business place. When they said like this, that we will visit your business place, then client definitely try to avoid this litigation. He said, okay, leave this, whatever they want to do, whatever they are
100%.
thinking.
See, Gagan told right in the beginning, what is it that we can do? We can do today in this session and our office also. In, I should share this with you. The largest number of audits, largest amount of litigation in Bangalore and Hyderabad. We are in the top 3. And we don't pay a single paisa to anybody. We don't allow these people all this monkey business. So the number of cases means so many people will be there, na? 50,000 का केस रहेगा, 50 करोड़ का भी केस रहेगा. But we fight all of them. Please remember that we have to put things on document. ये जो पुराना adjustment का मामला है, this doesn't work. Of course, if the client has lot of things to hide, then it is the client's decision. So if the client tells me that आपको ये करना है, नहीं आप ये सब मत बोलो, पंगा मत लो डिपार्टमेंट से, ठीक है, पंगा नहीं लेंगे. आपको क्या करना है वो लेटर ड्राफ्ट करके क्लाइंट को भेजने का है कि ये भेज दो मेल में. वो बोलेगा नहीं ये सब नहीं भेजेंगे, ठीक है, मत भेजो, भुगतो. So I think we may have convinced you, but your practice, the way you are doing practice is not the growth area of practice. You will still manage to do your practice, but ये क्या है ना, आप grow नहीं होंगे. छोटा मोटा काम तो रहेगा और फीस भी नहीं आता है, घूस में ही पैसा बनाना पड़ता है. You tell the client that this fellow is asking for 5 lakhs, he'll give you, and if you raise a bill for 5,000, you will not pay it for 1 year. Correct है ना? So all of us get into wrong ways because of some other advantage to us. So I don't know. You have to take on stand on what you want to do.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, please
Okay,
also.
Lokesh, you have a question? You are mute. You are on mute.
You are on mute, Lokesh ji. Mute, huh?
Great.
Sir, in one of the sir, am I audible? No.
Yes, very much visible, audible.
Sir, in one of our matter, a survey was conducted in one of our clients' case, and the books and everything were seized. And for the 2 years, they prepared a preliminary report for 17-18 and 18-19. And based on the preliminary report, the liability was discharged. Now, the audit is conducted for the same period. Sir, is it permitted in law that if proceedings under search or survey has been done and a preliminary report has been issued, the department can initiate a GST audit again? And they are asking for the same documents again, and now they are going in for a different liability altogether.
Yeah, maybe what you should do is claim a refund of the old amount paid, but you cannot stop them. I think Gagan can confirm. These people, unfortunately, all these parallel things are possible, duplicate things are possible. Only at the same time they cannot do it. So that is the only thing. So now that they have, they will bring up in audit something else. Possibility is there, but remember, 73 demand will survive if there is anything wrong. 74 will never survive because everything was given to them and there is a background that question cannot be, for longer period, they cannot recover it. But normally the first time only when the documents were not given to you, the period for getting the documents back was something the client might have ignored. So after the period of getting document back, statutory period, he should have made a claim that please give me the documents back. And the notice when it came, he should have said this is based on information which is beyond your power. None of these can be the basis because you are supposed to give me my documents back. You cannot take 10 years and then come up with a preliminary, whatever demand. And demands are always, in our anxiety to settle, we make a lot of mistakes. थोड़ा guts रहना चाहिए. ये client का तो खत्म हो गया. दूसरे client के लिए बता रहा हूँ लोकेश जी कि जब वो आएगा तो आपको क्या करना है next time, आप time limits देखो, powers देखो, किसने पूछा है देखो, क्या पूछा है देखो, jurisdiction है क्या देखो. पता नहीं चलता है तो कोई senior से पूछ लो कि can I object to jurisdiction. Department में क्या है, practically if you see, the inefficiency of the department is so high, 80% of the cases can be killed at the first stage. First stage, not at the last stage. First stage मर जाता है वो क्योंकि मधुकर ने नोटिस दिया आपको, jurisdiction नहीं है उसके पास, तो मधुकर को आप जब क्वेश्चन करते हो और मैं ये jurisdictional ऑफिसर है गगन, तो मैं jurisdictional ऑफिसर को देने का मेरे को क्या मतलब है? Why do I want to do it? मेरे को नहीं मिला तो गया, मैं कुछ नहीं करूंगा उसका. गगन को दूंगा तो वो बोलेगा अरे यार तू मेरे पास बहुत सारा झंझट है. I have my own headaches, don't bother me. This is what happens behind the scene. Jurisdiction का matter जो है is so important. Right in the beginning, when they ask for information, you should find out under which law, which section they are asking. And you can say maybe, sir, you are not the competent officer for this. Please transfer it to the competent officer. Bas. खत्म, वो केस ही खत्म हो जाता है.
Sir, actually the investigation was done by some other wing. Now the jurisdictional assessing officer is asking for the documents again. And the points are raised same, but the view taken by him is different.
So basically first, पहले बार आपने पे किया ना, वही गलती है. ये आपको आगे के लिए बोल रहा हूँ, don't be in a hurry to pay and settle. पहले लीगली कहाँ स्टैंड होते हो देखो. हो सकता है क्लाइंट का बहुत स्केलेटन्स हो कबर्ड में and then he wants to close, but don't close in a great hurry. Find out, अरे भैया एक नोटिस तो दो, so that it gets closed from that side. Otherwise you are paying based on oral demands, and tomorrow obviously it was only a oral demand, something might have been missed, and they know, department officers, they know many things. उनका
सर हम लोग के पास फाइनल रिपोर्ट आया था, मतलब we paid based on the final report that they
रिपोर्ट से नहीं चलता है ना. रिपोर्ट क्या है, शो कॉज नोटिस है क्या? प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, पेपर में लग के देंगे तो आप पे नहीं करने का. Either it should be an order or they should adjudicate. मैं पहले when I started my slide, the first slide talked about all these assessments are quasi judicial. It cannot be decided by either audit or investigation. Another independent person has to look through it. ये principal point है, but we have got used to our early habits. VAT में थे, तो सब settlement ही था. So we got used to those, because of which we continue to make the mistake. If you ask the industry, maybe not in Calcutta, if you ask the industry in Bangalore, they'll say we are really happy with GST. कोई problem ही नहीं है, सब problem चला गया. Because I'm talking about compliant clients. Compliant clients गलती नहीं करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है. Compliant clients, they follow the law normally. गलती तो होता ही है सबका. So I am giving you the future. You look like a young boy.
Yes, sir.
So you can certainly change your mind to change your action. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your guidance.
There is a question in the chat. It says, sir, what is the status of issue related to is royalty a tax or fee? Can you please tell the case number of Supreme Court so that we can track it on our website? Track. So case number, I will give it. Search and give it to this Ms. Prajakta. She wanted to understand what is the status of that issue.
Pending, no? They don't want to decide it so that they can continue to collect the GST on royalty. Till they decide, people have a doubt, na? Large amount, indirect tax hai, they'll think we can take credit. So many reasons are there why even consultants like us will say, risk kyun lete ho? Agree to pay it, not because it's valid. Agree to take it because you can get set off. That's the reason why many people choose to pay it, not because it's payable.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes.
Sir, this is Prajakta this side. Sir, होता क्या है जैसे कि हम लोग रॉयल्टी के ऊपर रिवर्स चार्ज में तो टैक्स दे देते हैं, उसके ऊपर हम लोग आईटीसी क्लेम कर लेते हैं, और जो हमारा गुड्स है सर उसमें फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में जब हम लोग बिल बनाते हैं तो अब हम लोग उसमें रॉयल्टी भी चार्ज करते हैं बिल में, तो वहां भी टैक्स लग रहा है, तो फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में 5% टैक्स लग रहा है, और उसी रॉयल्टी को जब हम लोग गवर्नमेंट को देते तो अब 18% में रिवर्स चार्ज में हम लोग पेमेंट भी करते हैं, और जिसका आईटीसी हम लोग क्लेम तो करते हैं, लेकिन अब वो आईटीसी इतना ज्यादा एक्यूमुलेट हो गया कि वो हम लोग को रिफंड होगा या नहीं होगा वो भी एक डाउट है।
आपको मालूम है ना कि डिफरेंस, देयर आर टू एस्पेक्ट्स इन दिस. नंबर वन, डू यू वांट टू फाइट दिस केस? इफ इट इज ए केस वेयर यू कैन नॉट यूटिलाइज द आईटीसी, जो अभी आपने बताया 18% में करते हैं और 5% आपको चार्ज करने को होता है, तो दैट एक्यूमुलेशन इज लेफ्ट.
Yes.
So question number one, do you want to take the risk and say that I will pay only if I after the Supreme Court decides, let it be in the case book. Demand करो, case book में रहने दो, पड़े रहने दो जब तक वो decide होता है. This is a little of a risky thing unless you are clear that 100% chance तो कोई नहीं बोल सकता है इंडिया में किसी के बारे में. So if they decide against it, then it's again very difficult. The chance of it being decided in your favor is very high. So if you are taking the risk, if the client is taking the risk वाला आदमी है तो उसको बोलने का, आपको लेना है तो ले लो, नहीं तो ये बिजनेस चलता नहीं है तो मत करो. नंबर वन. नंबर टू, वो बोलता है हाँ नहीं हमको मैनेज तो हो जाएगा, तो then what you say, okay, you take the credit and under that inverted duty structure, can you not apply for the refund? Gagan?
Yes.
So this. I was actually reading another circular. I couldn't hear what you said. Can you please repeat?
ये RCM में मैं रॉयल्टी पर पे करता हूँ. I will avail the credit. Then I will under forward charge, I will charge based on my service, which is only 5%. So I have this big accumulation. So since I have this accumulation, can I not go for refund under inverted duty structure?
Sir, at present, because my invert duty is because of input service, the law per se does not allow you unless you challenge the wires of the law, section 54.
Then I think he may not have much of
a first.
Yeah, that is a flaw which we can't do much because it has also been litigated and questioned, but courts have confirmed it. They have not understood what is the real impact on the industry, how unfair it is. On the arbitrariness, somebody has to again take it up and get it reviewed, I think. But in the meantime, this problem, Sukeji, is there for you. Only if you fight. Sometimes I have seen that decision to fight is sometimes necessary to safeguard yourself. Don't pay it and then fight the case.
Thanks.
The next question, it is more of a procedural. It says that circular 16 under CDIC, it says that TR6 is not a valid document to claim ITC. Needs your insight on this point. So basically, sir, this circular mentioned, this circular was given pursuant to a Supreme Court order on pre-import conditions and report against advance authorization. Where it after mentioning that TR6 is not a valid document under GST to claim credit, it also mentioned that the bill of entry which you will file, that is a valid document to claim the credit. So that is the background. And what's your insight on this?
See, you are asking me, right?
Yes, sir.
See, one of the things is that this paper procedure, whatever is laid down, even in the law written down, it is only a procedure. The Privy Council years back, decades back, has laid down that the procedures are only handmaidens of the law. They can only take the law, take what is the intention of law further. Because one paper is not correct, you have paid the money, it has gone to the government, then how can that be questioned ever? It just cannot be questioned. It is like, you know, today the 2A, 3B reconciliation and all that, where they say that 2B, I think it is, where they say that supplier defaults, you will have to pay. Unless you are involved with these supplier in some fake business, bill business, they can never do it. It can never happen. Unless they give you a way, unless they give you a portal utility where I can click and come to know whether Gagan has paid the tax or not. Only if I have a button which I can press and come to know, I will be allowed, they will be allowed to take money from me if Gagan doesn't pay. Otherwise, they have to take it from Gagan only. That is, these are all basic principles. Now, around those principles, these people try to make exceptions. They put conditions, and they are trying to see that their power is going to continue. But let me tell all of you who are here also, another 15 years, there will be hardly any practice of GST also. Just like there is hardly any practice of income tax now. 15 years में सब चला जाएगा. पुराने litigations भी amnesty scheme कुछ लाके खत्म कर देंगे. So you have to be very much attuned to making your professional fee when the iron is hot, which is now. Next 10 years, there is going to be a diamond mine in GST.
So there's one more question. It says that can DGI issue notice and then transfer the adjudication, the case to the adjudication authority? AS, somebody will AS. So no, this is Mallikarjun Gupta. So the process is this only. If DGI issues your show cause notice, he cannot adjudicate. He has to transfer it to the adjudication jurisdictional authority for adjudication. He can never do it. If he does it, that is beyond the power. He can challenge it.
100% I agree with him. There are also cases which there are decisions of courts which say that they can't issue. So your first defense will be you can't issue the notice at all. Second point is whether it before a different authority. So maybe you have to do a bit more study. If required, Gagan can do that one extra step in that. That is, in case the person DGGI has issued the notice, whether it can be ratified and heard by the adjudicating authority, I am not very sure it can be done. Because if I don't have authority to issue the notice at all, how can I transfer it to somebody? How can that fellow's and my mind be the same? He has to apply his mind, that jurisdictional officer. So it's like audit issuing notice. Both, in my view, DGGI and audit cannot issue notice and transfer it to the jurisdictional officer for hearing. This is what I think, but it can be confirmed from case laws.
So there's one more question. Is it with respect to the parallel proceedings by two authority? His question is, when is a proceeding said to be started? Can the first communication made by the department be considered as start of the proceedings, or the final show cause notice, which is issued, is said to be start of the proceedings? In case of parallel proceedings, what is start of the notice? Start of the proceedings.
See, if it is depends on what you are doing, right? If it is, if say the state and the center both are giving you a GST notice, then only on the receipt of notice it will be a parallel proceeding. And you can tell them, I am my jurisdictionally I am coming under state, or I am jurisdictionally coming under the center, to avoid the parallel proceeding continuing.
So also please help in clarifying whether state authorities can again start a proceeding in respect of a fresh issue when show cause notice for the same period but on a different issue has been issued.
Yes, certainly. If it is a different issue, there's nothing to bar them. No? It's not
There
fair.
is a time period to issue a show cause notice. So it can, the love letter can come multiple times. It is not that in one show cause only he has to give for everything.
Correct, correct. It's not fair, but it is legal.
So there is a question in the physical room.
During the audit proceedings, they have got a lot of documents, especially some of the documents not related to the GST also. They ask for. So can I bound to submit that? First question.
Yeah, I'll give you, rather than answer your question, if you have seen right from the beginning, I have been trying to curtail what they ask right from the beginning. So what you have to do is right from the beginning, documentation should be there. When an audit note is given to you, you should write back to them, which are the days you are coming. And I am little busy this month. You please fix a convenient date of coming and closing next month. This letter itself is going to put them into one particular way. Then they will ask you something on the phone. You will say, I am replying by mail, though you called me, you asked me for this, I am giving you this, and attach it in the mail and send it to him, who the audit officer. Second, once he comes, this is the very, very critical thing which I have seen success is 90%. 90% it is. When they come, be very polite with them. Don't give them all these taxi, and let them come. They'll come 11:30, 12, they'll reach you. Then they will not be very happy with you. They'll ask so many things. Whatever they ask, start writing down in your diary. Very important. The fact that you are writing in your diary itself will make them scared. And in case they don't bother, usko pata nahi chalta hai aap kya kar rahe ho. You write everything he says, and then you reproduce it in the end of the day in an email. Thank you for coming and supporting us in finding out how to comply with GST better. However, you have said the following things, and this is how I have answered. You will ask some questions, you will ask this, that, everything you write there. You ask me for the following records, I will certainly provide it. Then you said this and I said this, put it. Now this mail, once it goes to him, all his antics will stop. Only whatever is official will be asked for. One more point. Anything about the business secret, if it is there, then you should say, this is a business secret. I would like to have an NDA from all of you, including the deputy commissioner who is going to finalize your audit. Bas, that particular question will stop.
Another question is that when during the audit processing, they issues the entity to some spot observation, but there is some point of related to, I think that is the section 73, which is already some that interest like that I am not paid. That is section 73 I am not paid. But some issues are related observation that is attracted like 74. So can I pay before issuing so cost notice anything?
Certainly, no. You can pay, but please ensure and be sure that it is payable. There should be no interpretation. I think it is payable, don't do it. If you know it's payable, 100% clarity is there. You have checked up with some, you yourself seem to be an expert. So if you are convinced that it has to be paid legally, then certainly you can pay on one part and fight on another part. Other part you can say, I would like to have a show cause notice from the jurisdictional officer. When you send this mail, you can say, I have seen a case, you have pointed out a case where it appears that we have missed some something and we agree to it. And that's why we have made the payment through whatever challan, copy is attached here with. But for the other items, we would like to face a notice from the jurisdictional officer.
Right. Related to another question that during the audit period, some discount on payment that I have purchased from the dealer and with ITC I am paid. But after that, the dealer made some discount on payment due to my spare purchasing capacity also. So that discount is attracted is GST or not?
No, it is not. It cannot be. Only the value. I'll give you one more.
Yes.
Why only this example where he has given you a discount, 100 rupees bill, he said 5 rupees off and 95 rupees was the final consideration. Another case.
I have already paid the total taxable value, GST on total taxable value also. That during the business transaction, some discount has been made.
Yeah.
So
But
that is
also fine.
GST
Financial. This is
financial discount is not attracted to GST.
Exactly. Financial transaction without a GST document where he reverses will not be considered for your reversal also. Say financial debit note is given, credit note is given, even if it is for 50%, you take it, that's all. That's nothing more. You don't have to do any reversal anywhere.
So there is one more question in the chat. This is from Sneha. Sir, where ASMT 12 hasn't been issued, should we endeavor to get it? What are the advantages of having ASMT 12? Sir, if you allow, can I please answer this?
You only can answer because I don't know what ASMT 12 is.
Okay. So Sneha, let us say you are doing chartered accountancy course. The institute has asked you to do articleship. You have done it. The institute asked you to do GMCS. You have done it. It has given you certain questions in your CA final. You have done it. You have cleared everything. Now the institute is not giving you membership number. Will you go and take that or not? Will you pursue to get it or not? ASMT 12 is that you have done your assessment and everything is okay. Either you have paid or if it is not payable, the department has accepted it. So you have to get it. That is the biggest advantage. It is your proof that it is done. It's closed.
Good example.
Any other questions? We'll close on. Okay, there's one more question. First, I have to. Nice. Last question. So they are not issuing such, just this follow-up question. Somebody is asking, they are not issuing ASMT 12. It may be because they have not accepted your response and they will proceed with show cause. What is your responsibility? Give them a couple of letters, 2 times, that all the responses have been done. If you are satisfied, please issue 12. We understand that whatever we have given, you are satisfied with it. Please give 30 days. 30 days you have to give ASMT 12, but even if they give after 30 days also, the officer has that power. So you keep on asking 2-3 times till the time they give you a show cause. There's a physical question.
And actually, ADT 01 has been issued. All documents have been submitted. So around 2.5 months they were sitting on the documents, and around last 5 days before they have issued 101, and they are asking us to submit within 1 day all the reply because day after tomorrow is the last day. So what should I do?
So you know the answer. यहाँ पे मतलब आप खुद फील कर रहे हैं, आपके आवाज में एक दर्द था कि सर वो injustice कर रहा है.
But sir, on that basis, suppose they have issued the.
Definitely, it is violating of natural principles. Now, how can you sit quiet for 2.5 months and ask me all the data in one day?
But suppose on that basis they have issued the ADT 0.
मान लो suppose कर लेंगे तो drop हो जाएगा.
It can be issued the suppose notice on the ADT 2.
The ADT 2 first he will give you an ADT 2, then it will go for as a recommendation for show cause. Then a pre-show cause may be given to you. Then a show cause will be given to you. आप adjudication के बहुत सारे जवाब देने के मौके आएंगे.
But sir, अगर
इसमें ये बोल सकते हो कि उसका जो premises है, the premises on which this has been recommended is flawed because he has not given proper time and time to me and time to the case himself. तो आप उसकी premises को weak कर सकते हो. देखिए, at the end if you have reasons to give, बाद में आप second adjudication के time पे you will give those details. But if you are, let's say you don't want to give those details and you want to, then you only fight that the actions done by that officer is incorrect, which is not a fit case for ADT 2 and subsequent.
अगर the ADT 2 अगर time बाद हो गया तो उसके basis पे सर 73 या 74
ADT 2 time बाद 3 महीने के बाद उसके पास 6 महीने का extension और होता है, वो बैकएंड में निकाल के रखा होगा, आपको पता भी नहीं चला होगा.
कर सकता है.
हाँ, वो अपने बॉस को पास जाके बोलेगा भैया तो चिट्ठी में साइन कर दो, तो डिमांड कलेक्शन नहीं होगा.
सर GST के 2 लेवल से 3D के डिफरेंस में 74 का नोटिस इशू हो सकता है.
अंदर चाहे तो हो सकता है, अगर उसको लगे से इशू हो सकता है. आपका क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए इशू सस्टेन रहेगा कि हाँ करेक्ट, तो उसको वैसा प्रूव करना पड़ेगा कि आप इन्वॉल्व हो उस फ्रॉड में. फेक आईटीसी के केस में क्वेश्चन बेसिकली फेक आईटीसी या 2A का डिफरेंस है. तो आई एम इन्वॉल्व इन दिस फ्रॉड
of the suppliers willful default of not paying tax, I am involved, तभी मैं उसमें fraud में involved हूँ ना.
But all the details, everything is visible in the portal. Everything is visible.
आपको समझना होगा 3B versus 2A, there is an inherent problem. Tax has been paid to the government, can neither be assessed by that tax officer or me. नहीं पता कर सकते, तो वो inherent problem के चक्कर में बस to keep the demand alive, they will sometimes issue under sometimes they will tell you कि आप अगर if you pay the tax and interest, we'll close it under 73. But if you want to dispute, we will go for 74. ये कैसा मेरा acceptance or non-acceptance of liability, how can that be a fraud? समझिए चीज को. तो you get an initial 1 under 73, देखिए उसके बाद वो 74 कर नहीं पाएगा.
Thank you, sir.
There's one last question, sir. So if I have been issued ASMT 12, will I not get an SCN on the said issue? Snehaji, no, not with respect to the assessment. Subsequently, अगर आपका फिर से investigation होगा, आपने search सीजर में कुछ बड़ा चोरी करके रखा है, it might happen, but not with respect to this issue. ASMT 12 वाले के पास show cause नहीं हो सकता.
There is a question from, I think, Priyanka Rati.
Sir, I want to understand that in ASMT 10, just arithmetical difference is stated. In case we are unable to identify the difference and hence will not be able to reconcile the difference, will the officer be required to state the exact invoice for which they feel the ITC claim, but not in 2A in SCA? Priyanka ji, I think if there is a difference which you are not identifying yourself and saying with respect to ITC, the burden of proof is on you. Some amount is not reflected in 2A. If you yourself are not able to prove what are those invoices, because burden of proof, I think section 155 is on you with respect to ITC. Had it been output tax, he has to tell. One. Second, even if it is output tax, if the difference, okay, so your question is only with respect to ITC, I'll restrict it to ITC. If the matter is of ITC, burden is of proof is on you. If you do not give your explanation, he is not bound to give you invoice by invoice which invoices credit you have not taken. Because ASMT 10 is based on information available on the portal. And for him to find out what are the invoices, he needs your Excel data of 3D that you have claimed, which is not a document for him to take to do ASMT 10. To create a demand under ASMT 10, bill by bill matching by the officer is not mandatory. Madhukar sir, if you can add to this.
I have a diametrically opposite thing. It is not me who has to do the reconciliation. I will say, yes, I will, after my year end is over, after my auditors come, I will attempt to make the change. Anyway, you are free to make the reconciliation. This is what I would say if I have got humongous amount of data and I have to put a lot of people to get the difference out. I am not one to go and do this. Let them find it out. I will not say I will not do it. I will say I will reconcile, but not now. I will reconcile. So every time they write, I'll say, yes, we have to still get around to it. A lot of other work are there. People are not there, whatever. But department is free to reconcile. This is what some people do, but this is a very, as I said, these are all very adventurous ways of taking on the department. And you have to have a lot of guts. Your client should support you. Then only it can be done. Otherwise, as he said, once you start giving them reconciliation, then there is nothing more. Then you are stuck. Then you have to do what Gagan says only. You have to do it. If you are not able to do it, the difference they may ask you. Then you have to go back and say that we asked them to come and find out themselves. They didn't do. Invite them. The reconciliation has been done to this extent. That's what you are going to say. And we are not experts. Maybe you have experts who can do this. You have to put all this as if they are at fault. And you are very cooperative.
This is one last question. Is it necessary that all departmental audits
officers will raise penalty under 74 only and not under 73. Is it mandatory that all audits will ultimately end to show cause of 74?
See, the point is that, as I said earlier, 80% of the demands made by audit officers are frivolous. They have no legal basis. So therefore, the first point you should think about is, when they give you this lamba chauda list, you have to cut it down to 10% in your reply. Now, this is not any official reply and all that, in the sense that it is on record. You send it through email only, and send it also to the jurisdictional officer, not only to the audit officer. So they know that you are not scared about the correctness of your reply. If you do this, first of all, your audit will come down. The points will come down. And penalty is something which, in my understanding, very, very difficult for penalty to survive. There has to be some wrongdoing on your part, which I think is very difficult to prove also in this case. And only penalty if they are putting, then is a dead case, as per me. Yes, we can close.
Yes, sir. Those are the questions.
Thank you, Madhukar sir.
Thank you, sir. इतना अच्छा time दिया हमको. मैं भी थोड़ा सीख लिया गगन से.
After such a long time, sir. It's you who, when the GST model that came actually, sir, you put all India. And we will be preparation of media materials, and you build up in remote time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And now I request Shyam to offer a promo for the trades. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Direct Tax Professional Association, I thank all the speakers, both the speakers, Gagan, Kedia, and Madhukar sir, for sparing their valuable time out for us and gave us deliberations, which will surely add value to all our professional lives. And I would like to thank all the delegates for attending day one of the session. 5 days are still left, so we have more learning to go. All the best for the next 5 days. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.